Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube and Twitch channels, and we are doing things at a different time today. And this is going to be the new stream time, and I think it's going to work out really well because we're going to do um, just some normal like internet stuff and commentary stuff for the first like hour 15 minutes or so. Then question period will be live, so we can cover that live. So that's kind of what we're going to do today and going forward, and then that way I'll be able to do the combat hour at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern without being like super tired, super overtaxed, all that from just finishing up a just chatting stream, and it'll give me a good break between now and 9 to like do family stuff and all that, and I think that'll work out a lot better. So I hope you guys are ready for a fun day. I actually discovered something very cool. Apple has this thing called personal voice where you can it gives you like 150 phrases to say into your phone, and then it will um like synthesize a voice for you, and it's not anywhere close to perfect, but it is it's close. God damn it, what's wrong, honey? Hello, Spittlebuggies. Either the lights are off or the camera needs to be plugged. Okay, I will do the camera because the lights are on. Let me follow the cable. Following. Okay. Hopefully that worked. Because, yeah, I made sure the light was on. Yeah, it's on. Okay, hopefully that worked. Can I be seen? Hopefully I can be seen now. But yeah, I did a little video where like just before I went live showing the how it sounds. But yeah, it's not, it still needs work. It's working now. Yay! Good. All right. It's almost like you need to have a control system update too. And my pretty face is back on screen. Yay! Good. Good. So, yeah, hold on.
Hello, the driving it moderator, and your pretty face is back on screen. Button.
That is what BP's personal voice sounds like. It's very synthetic. It's very, like, it still sounds closer to Siri than it does me, but I think once it takes a little bit, I think once it gets a little bit more stable, it'll probably um, get better. But for right now, it's still very it's clear, but it just doesn't sound human. You know what I mean? It's not a human sounding voice at all. Um, but I think it's really cool because this is supposed to be for um, people who have problems speaking for long periods of time. So this was like, record your voice and let the phone synthesize your voice for you, so that if you like couldn't speak, you could type, and your phone could still speak in your voice, which I think is cool. I think that's very cool. Um, it's going to take a while, like I said, for it to sound human, but it's a start. And like I said, this is found in the accessibility settings. It's not in voiceover, it's in its own spot called personal voice. So, yeah, I think it's I think it's kind of a cool thing, kind of a cool gimmick. And you can apply it to your screen reader. So, I think that's also pretty awesome. So, yeah, that's my little discovery for the day. I actually started this last night, and it took overnight to synthesize the voice. So it took a bit of time, but yeah, that's Personal Voice by Apple, and like I said, it needs work, but it's getting there. So we've got more insanity surrounding hurricanes, because I don't know what it is about this particular set of hurricanes, Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. I don't know like what it is about these two hurricanes, but it has driven people insane. I'm not entirely sure why. Um we've got just insane people. Like this video that we're about to watch from Ruined Leon is saying apparently your family deserves to die in a hurricane because a black man might have killed himself. This is the level of insane that we are reaching in this day and age. We are I don't even understand anymore. I really don't understand people's level of anger. And this is coming from a person who is angry all the time for no reason. So, I this is no different from 2003 with Hurricane Ivan and Hurricane Charlie. They were just nasty and I was in those. Were people this crazy though? Like were people on the like in the that were affected, were they this batshit? Like could you imagine? Could you imagine if Twitter existed during Hurricane Katrina? Could you like holy shit. So we're gonna take a look at this video here.
Welcome back to stupid people trying to sound like the smartest in the room because no one loves them and they think just saying something on the internet makes them validated in any capacity under the sun.
I love the way he just I love the way he says that. We're gonna listen to it again.
Welcome back to stupid people trying to sound like the smartest in the room because no one loves them and they think just saying something on the internet makes them validated in any capacity under the sun. You remember that video from a couple days ago where the stupid people really wanted you all to know that, we really shouldn't feel bad for victims of hurricanes who've lost all their property, who've lost their home, who've potentially lost family members. Some individuals are still missing. Keep all of that logic and the stupidity from that video and retain it in your mind because we got another one.
Oh good. Oh good. More stupid. Cause last night it was I didn't get a refund for my Airbnb. I'm serious if it wasn't for social media, this shit would not be as insane as it is now. No, you're not wrong. No, the craziness is because of social media. Yeah. That you're right. All the people that believe the shit that Musk is saying and half of it's not true. Yeah, I it's true. Like, if Elon Musk says it, then people are like, oh, well, it must be true. Elon Musk said it.
And I would argue this one might be a little bit worse and inconsiderate. And I quote, rather, if you like it or not, supposed to be whether if you like it or not.
Yeah, not rather if you like it or not.
It's the truth. God has brought judgment on those places. Keep playing with God. They just murdered a young boy in North Carolina, the truck driver, no name, so that tells me how much you care about him. Y'all are triggered because y'all want to act like racism doesn't exist or you're a racist. So let's go about this point by point. Number one, racism still exists. Racist people still exist. No matter if you sit here watching this and say, no, it doesn't, you're ignoring reality, and that's your problem, not mine. Number two, I'm not a racist. I hate everybody equally.
Look, it's you, honey. It's you. I'm not a racist. I hate everybody equally. Yep. Like we learned the $750. Like we learned that the $750 was for immediate... The voucher for $750 was for immediate supplies, not long-term relief. Yeah. It's not like that's all you get.
Because the amount of time I've seen stupid shit from white men, white women, black men, black women, Mexicans, Latinas, Latinxes, the Asians, it don't matter.
No, they're all stupid. They're all stupid. They're all doing stupid things.
So stupid. And I get embarrassed knowing that people are confident trying to speak for an entire race of people based on their own stupidity and ineptitude. And I would argue the most important point that this individual, the truck driver, the young boy.
The truck driver. No name. No name for this kid. Right? No name. Just the truck driver.
Javion McGee or Javion McGee.
Javion,
if I butchered that name, I apologize. There's two ways you could look at this. Number one, if this is even the individual you're talking about, because you didn't specify this at all.
It's almost like all the, quote, centrists are no longer in existence. Yeah.
If we're talking about Javion McGee, number one, it's still an open investigation. Why is it an open investigation, Liana? I think that she might have an actual point here, and you're just being a bigot and you hate black people. Well, I'll tell you. Number one, we're still investigating whether if this is a lynching or not, because, you know, it could be the possibility. Or number two, we're investigating if this man took his own life. And let's play both scenarios. If this was a lynching where people beat this man to death and then they propped his body up as if it was a suicide. That's evil.
Yeah, that is evil. That is downright evil. And it should never happen. And I don't think anybody with any sense of right and wrong or any intelligence would say, oh yeah, no, that's fine.
That's horrific. And my question to any of you is, what does that have to do with other people losing their homes and family members being missing because the wrath of God came down upon one instance and one example? Okay. That seems to not make any sense. But if we were to play the other scenario, and this man unfortunately took his own life, that's tragic. We need to have greater conversations about mental health and how in some scenarios people feel like this is the only way out.
Yeah. Both, okay, one scenario is evil, one scenario is tragic. Neither scenario needs to be stood on for ideological reasons.
And after we have that conversation, I'm going to tap you on your shoulder and ask you, hey, what does somebody potentially taking their own life have to do with a hurricane?
Yeah, right? What does either of those things have to do? What does lynching somebody or suicide have to do with a hurricane?
That affects other people who don't even know this individual. Because when you people like to speak in this mythical tone of you have all the answers because just leave it up to God, you're ignoring the history of hurricanes. I know it's difficult for a lot of people to understand this, but every year there's this thing, kind of like football season. I said this in the last video called, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Oh, hurricane season. So I guess every year around like end of July to right Now, by the way, here's your update on that hurricane I mentioned the last time.
Meanwhile, in the tropics, we're still in the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season, and there's plenty to talk about. We have a tropical wave coming in off the West African coast. It has a low chance of developing in this region here, outlined by the National Hurricane Center. We also have Tropical Storm Leslie. It will likely become a Category 1 hurricane.
Jesus. So we've got Leslie, we've got Milton, we've got Helene. Jesus Christ.
As we move through the weekend, but not impacting any lands. And then similar situation with a Category 4 hurricane named Kirk. It looks pretty impressive,
Kirk,
but
huh?
it's not expected to impact anybody either.
You have God picking and choosing to just ravage the South because of, a murder in California. Ooh, a murder in Washington. Ooh, a murder in New Mexico. Ooh, a murder in Tijuana.
Yep, he's just pissed off. He is just pissed off at everybody for all the racist murders that are happening. So he's throwing hurricanes at people. Oh my God. Well, think about all the people that were centrists and used to shit on blue check marks. Ah, yup. How long was it until those same people purchased Twitter Blue? Yep. That's true. It's so true. And now Category 1 is not that bad. How fast is that? That's like, I can't remember how fast that is.
Just sending the hurricane to the fucking South that will affect Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, and maybe a couple other fucking areas, give or take, depending on how big the hurricane is. Fuck, why not just wipe out the entire country? Because that's the wrath, and bring it on, baby.
Yeah, right? Like what the fuck is this? Like, God knows about racism happening, so let's do hurricanes.
Remember Katrina? Remember the hurricane that affected New York City? Oh man, I remember when a homeless man took a shit in a bucket and threw it at somebody, or that stabbing on a train. Yeah. God's getting his will back, and
God's getting his. All right.
He's getting his revenge on all of you. And listen, I am not sitting here ignoring the existence or the belief in God. If you believe in God, may the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit rest within you. If you don't believe in God,
really may
your voodoo cards rest within you. If you believe in Satan, may he brush upon your ass cheeks. I'm just gonna get closer just a little bit so that we can all understand each other. You can spout that bullshit all you want, but this is the dumbest shit on the fucking planet. And it makes me, the cynical bastard who's tried and true in his cynicisms, look at you and say, dumb bitch, if your family dies, that's karma.
Yup. If you're gonna sit there and you're gonna be like, it's okay if your family dies because racism exists, that's ridiculous. And if anything happens to you, if anything happens to you, that is karma. That is literally karma biting you in the ass.
Because something else that happened that's out of your fucking control. Because that's the dumbass fucking logic you want to play in everybody's fucking faces. Why is it so difficult for anybody just to say, I'm sad that this happened? Why?
Like, seriously, is it the rapture and no one told us? Yes, we're getting left below.
Why is it difficult for people to just say, you know what, because FEMA is so ass backwards, we now are going to work together and we're going to throw a little bit of change. We all ain't got a lot of money, but you know what? If 10 of us throw $100, that'll be enough. And we could just say, hey, donate it to a fundraiser. And that could potentially help out a family. It may be a little, but it'll be worth something. We can't do that. We can't do that in any capacity. We just got to sit here, twiddle our little thumbs, and say the dumbest shit possible.
Yeah, nobody that's saying all this shit and spreading all this shit is helping anybody. They're just jumping on the hysteria bandwagon, not doing anything to help, and just pouring gasoline on everything.
To excuse tragedy. Do you realize that people are missing because their bosses called them and told them show up to work during a Category 4 or you're fired?
Factory in Unicoi County is under fire after some employees were trapped in the floods and then some died.
Oh, yeah.
Courtney Allen is joining us from Irwin tonight. Courtney, you actually talked to someone who was rescued from that flood. What are you hearing tonight?
Huh.
Casey, the road to the plastics plant is closed, but we did talk to an employee who says he was swept away by the floodwaters. He was able to make it to the top of a semi-truck to get to higher ground.
That's terrifying. You know, climb on top of a semi-truck, not die. Not get swept away by the floods.
He believes, though, that this all could have been prevented if the company acted sooner. This was the moment Jacob Ingram was rescued by a helicopter, waiting as others were hoisted up.
That's
only 5
scary.
of us made it.
He says he was with co-workers from Impact Plastics Friday. They'd been at the factory that day when Hurricane Helene floodwaters came through.
I actually asked one of the higher-ups, and they told me no, not yet, that they had to ask someone before we was able to leave, even though it was already above the doors and the cars and everything.
That's insane. That's insane. That was above the doors, and they're like, no, you can't leave yet. We have to ask. What the fuck?
Nothing else.
At least 2 employees were killed. Another 6 and a contractor are still missing, according to Impact Plastics.
So the company had released a statement saying that employees were dismissed when water covered the parking lot and adjacent road and the plant lost power.
No, the plant lost power, and we were still told not to go home or nothing. We were still there for about 15 to 20 minutes after the plant lost power.
Ingram.
That is insane. So the plastics plant is basically lying. And the CEO put out a horrible video that Asmongold covered and basically made it sound like it was the fault of the employees for dying in the flood.
Believes those 20 minutes could have saved lives.
Yeah.
Impact Plastics says most employees left immediately, but some remained on or near the premises for unknown reasons.
So you're saying you're one of the last people that saw them?
She smiled right at me.
The owner of a nearby manufacturing facility
Been rescuing people, man. They'll all come down here.
went to Impact Plastics to help get more workers out
That's
after
so
he'd already
scary.
sent his home.
That is just so horrible. Like, your business is not worth this.
I was there yelling at them to come. She was talking to her boss.
Have you heard anything from the company, from management since?
No, I haven't heard a thing. They have not reached out, none of us survivors, to make sure we're okay, nothing.
Wow. So the video where he says that he has reached out and all that, that's just lies. That's full out lies.
The company says it's organizing a recovery center for employees.
No.
In the meantime, Ingram and others who've lost jobs stood in line at Irwin Town Hall Tuesday to get help with unemployment.
You realize that's what happened? You realize they got stories of people missing and losing contact with family members, and then on the phone or via texting or saying goodbye, I love you, take care of the kids, and you coming in just being inconsiderate as all fuck.
You're just like, good, you deserve it, because one person got murdered, maybe.
Like, what's wrong with you, you stupid bitch? What's wrong with you, you stupid bitches that agree with her? Because some of y'all gonna try me. Some of y'all gonna be, well, Leon, when you think about it, no. Well, Leon, when you actually take the time, I'm not doing it. Oh, well, Leon, when you start to consider, not doing it.
No.
It's a fucking hurricane. Something that happens every year. And if we just gonna bottle this shit up as saying, oh, well, you probably should have done nothing wrong in your life, or, oh, everybody in America should have just been good little boys and girls because Christmas time came early and it came to give everybody fucking cold, that's stupid.
Yeah, that's the dumbest thing ever. Everybody behave, otherwise a hurricane will happen and kill everybody. Like, what the fucking hell is all this
Especially
shit?
when you're somebody like me who grew up in the South and knows about hurricane season and how it comes every year. And newsflash, dumb bitch, this ain't Santa giving you a Christmas gift.
No.
It's fucking weather, and it's coming every fucking year. And that's what pissed me off. It's the confidence in saying this dumb shit and thinking, oh man, it's just fine. And if you don't agree with me because I'm using God as my shield, by the way, really disastrous way you're using God as a shield. Oh, well, fuck, I guess you're just a racist then.
Yeah. How dare you question the way I'm using God as a shield? You bigot. You horrible bastard bigot. How dare you possibly consider that, this isn't punishment. It's the, oh.
First of all, God don't like you judging people. And secondly, God don't like you judging people. So congratulations, you coming to hell with me. To wrap this up, I'm gonna need y'all to do me a favor. Not so much you, the individual who's subscribed, who knows that everything that you've seen in this video in terms of critiquing and not having a heart about this hurricane, you're smart individuals. To you dumb motherfuckers watching this that are wanting to talk about sundown towns as your excuse to not care about people who have no stake in that game, that are not racist, that have dead family members now, that have missing family members, and you just want to look at life as your little box of just, oh, you don't care about nothing until it affects you. I hope that shit affects you.
Yeah. Yeah. Straight up. If you're going to hope that something horrible happens to somebody in the form of a natural disaster, because somewhere there is racism, that is insane. Hey, Lord Famine, what's up? The fucking hell? The armpit guy's back. That's weird.
Also, be careful because cookies changed the flavor in the disposable. It is now some weird cereal thing. Button. And hello, the driving it moderator. So does this mean we can start sacrificing liberals to appease Thor?
Yes, it does. Also be careful because cookies changed the flavor in their disposable. It is now some weird cereal thing. Ugh. Cereal milk? Because I know there's a strain called cereal milk. Cool. Cool. Work is always good. All right, let's see here. What's our next? So yeah, like this is I can't believe people are that. Well, actually no. I can believe people are that horrible because they just are. They're just awful people that exist, and they think that their brand of awfulness is fine, but everybody else's is just needs to be punished or something. I don't know. It's very strange. It's a very strange dichotomy that we've reached, where one brand of awful is awful and another brand of awful is not. It's I don't understand. Apparently, some 41 guy, Derek Webley, is got some allegations. I don't know what this is about. This is from Rockfeed. Let's see. The climate people are getting weird too. Yeah, they're. It's just getting. It's just getting strange. Let's take a look here.
Sum 41 vocalist Derek Whibley is set to release his memoir, Walking Disaster, My Life Through Heaven and Hell, tomorrow, October 8th. And in that book, he'll detail his life and career as the frontman of Sum 41 for nearly 3 decades. But there's one story he hasn't told until now.
So Sum 41 kind of like disappeared. I blame Avril Lavigne for that because she was married to Derek Whibley for a while. And during the marriage, she did a bunch of work on their albums, and it was all just like, she turned him into a sniveling love child, and all he wanted to do was write like weird punk love ballads. And the rest of the band was like, no. No. And she did the same thing to Chad Kroeger with Nickelback. Their album Let Go, I think it was Let Go. It was horrible. It did absolutely terribly, and within a year, Chad Kroeger and Avril Lavigne were divorced. It was really funny. Anyway,
even to his own bandmates. In this memoir, according to a new report from the LA Times, Whibley alleges that his manager groomed him and sexually assaulted him. Here's what we know. In a shocking and heartbreaking revelation from his new memoir, Walking Disaster, just published in the LA Times, Whibley accuses the band's former manager of sexually assaulting him and grooming him beginning when he was 16 years old.
Holy shit. That is not what I was expecting.
Singer writes in his book that he's never told anyone about the alleged sexual relationship with his manager, including his own bandmates. The memoir details his life and career as the frontman of Sum 41, but it's clear now that it also details the dark side of the music industry. Whibley alleges that the manager verbally abused him and even discouraged him from staying in contact with his own parents.
Jesus Christ. This is straight up grooming. Like, cutting off contact with family, verbal abuse. This is crazy. I hate the fact that Avril Lavigne became our Yoko Ono. Yeah. Hey, Fury Kitten, what's up? How are you doing?
In the midst of Sum 41's breakup,
shut up.
Derek is detailing the highs and lows of his career in the memoir. Whibley makes disturbing allegations about the band's former manager, Greg Norrie, alleging he groomed him and sexually and verbally abused him for years, beginning when he was just 16 years old. Norrie, who was a musician himself in a band called Treble Charger, would become Whibley's songwriting mentor early in his career. Whibley band called Treble Charger, just 16 years old. Norrie, who was a musician himself in a band called Treble Charger, would become Whibley's songwriting mentor early in his career. Whibley writes, "Greg had one requirement to be our manager. He wanted total control. We couldn't talk to anyone but him."
So the Treble Charger guy did this? Holy shit. I know I know of Treble Charger. I've listened to Treble Charger. That's fucking crazy.
Because the music business is full of snakes and liars, and he was the only person we could trust. In one incident, Whibley alleges when he was 18 and intoxicated at a rave, Norrie asked him to come to the bathroom to use drugs. In the stall, close together, he alleges that Norrie grabbed his face and passionately kissed him. He walked away from the incident stunned. In the following weeks, Whibley claims that Norrie tried to justify his actions and claimed that what they were doing was worth exploring because, quote, "So many of my rock star idols were queer. Most people are bisexual. They're just too afraid to admit it."
That's... God damn it. Why are there so many people that are fucking gay or bi that do this to people? Like, it's... No, not every gay person is a groomer, but why? Why? Why does it have to be every single time that this happens, that the person is gay?
Sum 41 was quickly rising in popularity, and the band would tour on the road more and more. He says that he felt relief at a distance from his then manager. Whibley writes that he would then try to end the physical encounters, as he didn't identify as gay or bisexual.
No.
And in the
No, he was obviously a straight guy. Like, you could tell. Like, he's not gay.
book, Nori allegedly grew irate, accusing Whibley of being homophobic.
Oh my
In
God.
2004, Whibley would begin dating music superstar Avril Lavigne. The two would later get married in 2006. He would eventually confide in her, and Lavigne had a strong reaction. That's abuse. He sexually abused you, she allegedly said. Whibley would later tell his current wife of 10 years, who echoed that sentiment. Whibley
Yeah, that is sexual abuse. That's absolutely sexual abuse. That's not okay. The crazy thing is no, not every one of them is a groomer, but it's looking like 70 to 80%. That's true. It's true. It's like, why? Like, why does it have to be this
He said in
way?
his book that the sexual encounters would stop when a mutual friend reportedly heard what had happened, and while the sexual part of their relationship ended, he claims that the psychological and verbal abuse would escalate. Nori produced their album Does This Look Infected and Chuck. He also insisted to be credited as a songwriter on most of their songs.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's horrible. Like, he groomed him, he sexually abused him, and then he's like, I want credit for your music.
But in 2018, Whibley won back the songwriting credits of Sum 41's publishing after filing a lawsuit against Nori. In the book, Whibley says he asked his band members to fire Nori, but he didn't tell them about the abuse, instead focusing on alleged managerial problems. Whibley says he didn't warn Nori about the contents and the allegations in his book.
No, nor should he. Why should he? He doesn't owe him anything.
He said, I don't owe him anything.
No.
But he says that he still feels like he should have told him. He said, I've had an inner battle. Like, why do I want to tell him? Because I feel like I'm supposed to? Because he still has this thing over me? He controlled everything in my life. But even the rest of the guys through the band, we were all under his wing. Me more, obviously. But he was such a controlling person. Whibley also claims that he was isolated from his parents by his then manager. He says, he wouldn't let our parents know anything. He tried to keep them away all the time. Now it makes more sense.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense. That's what groomers do. That's what abusers do. They isolate people from people who can point out that's abuse. This is why you should never, ever, ever, ever trust industry leaders. Nope. I'm from the music industry, and I'm here to help you. Yeah. No shit. That's... Oof.
Because he was the same age as our parents, and we didn't know that at the time. He knew they would get suspicious of the way things were running.
Yeah.
He would always be like, you can't have a relationship with your parents and be in a rock band. It's not cool. It's going to hurt your career.
What the fuck? You can't have a good relationship with your parents if you're a rock star?
Wow. Greg Nori did not respond to a request for comment from the LA Times in connection with their story. Whibley's memoir, Walking Disaster, is set to release tomorrow, October 8th. I filmed a video which is going to release tomorrow, and I've spent time with Derek. He's a very genuine and kind person, and everybody loves that guy, and my heart goes out to him. This was heartbreaking to hear about this, and again, a lot of courage for him to put this book out. That's really
good for him for speaking out and saying something. That is insane. Like, and for it to be from a band like Trouble Charger, that's... It was in the book. You told him that was how Nori was notified. Yep. He did that. That's all the notification that he needs. He doesn't deserve any prior knowledge or anything like that. Not at all. Not at all. He does not deserve it. He does not deserve any of that. Because if even half of that is true, then he was a terrible person. And you don't owe him a single thing. All right. It's time to get into some funny things, because that was pretty heavy. So I think it's time for us to have a laugh. And Papa Meat's always good for a laugh. He's got something for us to look at called the delusional world of online simping. So this is always worth a good laugh, because we'll see.
Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? Come on and sit on down, because today we're talking about mods. Moderators.
Oh God, mods.
Online. Whether you're streaming, maybe you're in a Discord server chatting with your friends. Moderators have taken over the internet as basically hallway monitors for the internet.
It's true. You can't say that here. You can't post that here. Reddit is horrible for that shit. Reddit is just fucking terrible for that.
People that have a little sense of justice for things and fandoms or groups that need protecting. Mods are there. They are the saviors, the angels. But,
like a good neighbor, mods are there.
Also kind of creepy. Regardless if it's a god complex over power, or maybe it's harassing women or being just like kind of creeps or incel-y behaviors, mods are this kind of conglomerate of disgusting ooze. And today, I'm very, very excited to talk about them.
And they're so fucking white knighty. Like on TikTok, for example, there were so many people that wanted to mod for me because they wanted to block the most innocuous comments. And I'm like, no. I don't need mods. Fuck off.
So today, let's dive deep into the depraved and disturbed minds of online moderators. Today's video is sponsored by Opera GX, the browser that leaves boring
I think I'm about to feel attacked.
With tons of customization, you may not know where to start. So let the GX mods cultivate the experience you want. And the GX mods go wild, giving you background music, keyboard sounds, opening and closing tab sounds, theme and colors of the browser, martyr, and related content for you while you do whatever you want today. Back to the video. We're gonna focus a lot on Twitch today.
Twitch mods,
I don't know why, but I've had this weird obsession lately of looking at random Twitch moderators. Maybe it's because in my own streams, my moderators have to lay down the law for unsuspecting victims.
See, let's see. Is Armpit Crazy Person still in my Twitch chat? Let's see. No, he's not. Okay. That's good.
Really, it's just dickheads online. It is what it is. They help me. I get my feelings hurt very easily. Majority of it is fun stuff on Twitch, which if you don't know Twitch, it's an online streaming website. I don't know what I'm supposed to tell you. You have a brain. There you go. We're going to be focusing a lot on Twitch moderators, and we're going to start off with a classic one that popped up.
The comments that were made on TikTok about you were kind of funny. Yeah, they were. Like, some of the comments were funny, and, like, these people were like, oh my god, how could you say that?
A couple years ago, a moderator who mods for a user named Saint Peach. Oh my god, you're beautiful. Please, love me. First time I met her at a convention, he came his pants. Roll the clip.
I met a girl who's a streamer. I went up to her, I hugged her, and I came in my pants.
Ew, dude, what the fuck? You hugged a girl and came in your pants? Oh, what? Why?
I like also too after he said I came in my pants, he's just like, I came in my pants. Just a little quirky, that's me. A little bit of clue glue. Why not, dude? Baby gravy in my pants. She didn't see it. She probably smelled it.
What do you think that smelled like?
What do you think what do I think his jism smelled like? I hate to speculate, but I would assume it's probably salty pumpkin seeds and peanut butter if I was a betting man.
I think you need to get laid a little more often.
Exactly.
Yeah, if hugging somebody makes you come, you need Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was she hot though?
What kind of weird follow-up question is that? Was she hot at least? Because if she was a big fucking porker, then it wouldn't be. That's wasted seed, dude.
You're right. Like, does it matter? You came after hugging somebody. You.
Was she
Ugh.
hot?
Oops.
And he's like, yeah. Bro, of course she was hot. I'm not gonna mod for some weird porky pig, whatever. Come on. But you know what? I digress, man. Sure. Sometimes you're a guy online who feels lonely. I feel that way all the time. I have a wife and I feel that way. Going through a very litigious divorce. It's not.
That sucks. That sucks that he's divorcing
I
her.
don't want to pry. Don't ask me, because I'm not going to tell. But even I've wanted to pick up the mantle of being a moderator to have a little bit more power in my life, a little more justice. Just like some of Amaranth's moderators.
Oh,
If you
God.
don't know Amaranth, she's a big, beautiful queen online. Yeah, we don't know Amaranth. Sure, buddy. Sure, let's lie to ourselves, huh?
Yeah, who doesn't know who Amaranth is?
And especially
Seriously.
female communities usually will be the ones to have kind of the creepiest moderators. Sure, there's a lot of lovely.
Oh, spittle. That's gross.
Moderators out there, but as the list goes down here, it hurts their case. You know what? I'm just gonna put it out there. Every moderator is a freak. I'm gonna put it out there, and I don't give a f if you're my own moderator. You're a freak. How dare you? How dare you? What is this hat? What is that kind of hat? Like an English Bobby wears it. You know what's f***ed about this clip too is that she definitely saw the hand up there. She definitely saw that hand too, and she walked away. And he's like, "Hey,
Why ignore it though? You just want to touch him?
I don't know, power trip. I don't know."
Oh wait, he went to high five her and she just walked away.
No. Well, you know, I don't know the guy. He could be a nice man. It's like an awkward fan interaction. It's like sometimes you just don't want to give into it because then when you give into it, they take so much more. Give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
It's a high five though.
Yeah, come on, don't be a bitch. You could at least high five somebody that's modding for you. Come on. You don't have to be rude.
It's a high five, but at the same time, it's just one of those things where then it's just like one high five becomes 5 high fives. Then it becomes a hug. Then it becomes, you just nip it at the bud. Which he did get his revenge 3 years later, Nick. He did. She put one up to him and he rejected it, and then she looked shut down. So who really got the last laugh?
Yeah.
She's a millionaire. She definitely got the last laugh, I think. And a big thing to preface is that all of these, I don't think, well, I guess there's probably some mods who get some paid. Well, I would say
Speaking of gross, you can have this cookies when I get home. It's that bad.
99.9% of mods are volunteers who do not get paid. So this kind of power trip or this kind of obsession is fueled off fandom, essentially. There are mods out there who are just like, I'm happy to help and I'm usually here. And they're respectful and there's like usually a level of friendship. But like me and my mods, I would say we're friends.
Is it so? Yeah, I would like. I don't make people mods just because. Like, I'm gonna make a mod if it's a mod. I'm gonna
chat with them outside of my Twitch stream. It's cool. But there's some people who take it to where I would say there's an unhealthy social, like parasocial relationship to where maybe you feel by extension that you're a part of that person's team or that you get to speak for them.
Hey, Perky. Yeah, I remember when this one dropped. It was kind of weird and gross at the same time. My day is going well. I covered this one a year or so ago? Oh. Yes.
Like if somebody was, let's say, Amaranth's moderator or something, I'm sure that at some point there's some moderators who are like, I'm like really good friends with Amaranth and I get to speak for her and say these things. And I feel like at times there just might be moderators who don't see the line.
Yeah. That was a big problem on TikTok where the mods that thought they were like closer to me than they were, and yeah, that was weird.
I guess in an unhealthy,
parasocial.
weird way. Or they could just look weird and I'm being rude. Amaranth also, by extent, is a very beautiful princess. Can I say that, Nick? Can I be so frank?
You can.
Can I be so bold?
You must.
I know. Amaranth's fans, if I may be so bold as I must, I would say a lot of them are guys who are simping.
Yes. Very much so. A lot of these guys that want to be a mod are very much doing this because they want like some sort of parasocial relationship with the streamer.
Simps! Online simps. I feel like there's a direct correlation between moderation and simps as well.
Yes.
Guys, which if you don't know what simps are, they're men who flock in droves. They give women all the attention because they're sexually attracted to them. Them's is the facts. Nick's done it.
Lady.
Hell, I've probably done it. Fond after a woman who definitely doesn't love you back, but you're fixated on her. And then when it's an internet personality who's there all the time and you get to watch from afar, I mean, it's a public thing. It's not like she's at her
Think
date.
like you're smoking a Cheerio, but they're frosted Cheerios. And the one side tastes like a frosted Cheerio with milk, and the other side is apparently a la mode. Ugh.
A job, and you're like looking in like a bakery window, like, oh my god. Beautiful women attract a lot
the
of
a la mode. I don't know. We'll see.
nasty bot flies. Bot flies sit there and they
Bot
go around,
flies
as you
are
can see in various fan interactions and stuff. It's just kind of cringy stuff. Maybe they want to smell her. No, don't point at yourself, Nick. That kind of fandom is going to bring that kind of moderator. That's the connection I'm trying to make. So sexy women are going to have weird moderators as well. Doesn't mean they're all bad.
No. It's also the mod you pick, right? It depends on the mod you pick.
I want to put that out there. Doesn't mean they're all bad. But I would say if I had to be a betting man, I'd say the majority of them are just a little weird, a little odd guys. Especially whenever the first level of interaction is, I find you sexually attractive. That's a recipe. Bam. You know what I mean? For
Yeah, you don't just come out and say that. You don't just come out and say that shit. Ugh. Let's see.
disaster, I'd have to say. Which even Amaranth has gone on fictitious dates with some of her mods. I wouldn't actually call it a real date.
Okay.
She would go on a date or grab like a coffee, a casual date, a friend date with some of her mods.
We should have clubbed. That is very parasocial and very, like, how is that safe to do? Like, I don't understand that.
I don't think clubs open this early.
Guy on the right legit looks like a drawing. And you know what? There is nothing wrong with being a man who maybe wears like a Superman shirt. Hey, my beard is unkempt, but your hair's a little I'm not going to tell you which streamers I mod for, but I do mod for some of them. One of her ex-mods, her then mod, found out that she was married, and then it felt severely wronged by her. He felt betrayed because in this way, these moderators or simp/moderators have an unhealthy relationship where they're like, maybe one day
I'll get to have sex with her and she'll be my girlfriend. It'll be amazing.
Every day you wake up and you're like, is today the day? Maybe. Or you live with this delusion in your mind that one day it'll happen. By being the moderator, you're one step closer to being in a relationship with her. She can trust you. You can trust me. You can trust me.
Well, look what happened with Amaranth when they found out she was married. Yeah. Also, look at the lack of interaction on your page is because of me. That, you think?
So I'm on r/livestream fails, and there's news you have a husband. This can't be true, right? I do have a husband, but obviously I'm not going to mention him because then people get turned off by that idea. Do you know what I mean? I don't want people to know that I'm taken because then they won't donate me money.
See, and that's the one thing I refuse to do, right? I refuse to hide that I'm in a relationship because that's disrespectful. That doesn't... Like that, I'm proud to be in this relationship. I want people to know.
It's essentially what it is. That's business 101, baby. Supply and demand. Supply and demand, Nick. No, I don't understand it. Why did you hide having a husband? It's just like, I don't know, dude. Use your fucking brain. The fantasy is that she is attainable. And whenever you have, hey, used goods, nah. She's a...
Yeah, her brand is herself. And people will donate more if they think she's single. And it's funny because this is what Amaranth and I were talking about in our DMs the other day that I was explaining to you. Yes.
Virgin. Can you imagine looking at some of these streams being like, she's a virgin. She's mine for the taking. And why is that any of your business anyways? I am not allowed to keep that aspect of my life private. Good point. Yeah. I've been supporting you for 2 years now. I'm always moderating your chat, making sure dumbasses don't say shit about you. Do you know how much I support you? I always donate to you. I've given you thousands of dollars.
That doesn't matter, dude. Like, you gave her thousands of dollars just because you thought she wasn't married?
This point. Also, kind of fair as well. Do you think that in a way, is it like dangling a carrot in front of a rabbit? Also, this might be a bad person to ask because I feel like you're gonna be like, what a bitch. And I am still thankful for that. Like, okay, well, okay, thank you. And 2 months ago, do you remember what you said to me? I had just got off work and I sent you a picture of my bored but tired face on Snapchat, probably the Jim Halpert. And you said I looked cute, obviously.
Well, yeah, because... Oh my god. What the fuck? Of course, like, what's she gonna say? Ew? What an ugly mug? Like, what?
You know how much I like you. I was gonna fly out to TwitchCon this year, and I was hoping we'd get a few drinks afterwards. Just you and me. See where the night takes us. And now this comes out, I feel like such a moron. Whoa! Man, first off, bold. Just implying that it's gonna happen.
Yeah, like, I was gonna come to TwitchCon and, you know, we were gonna have drinks together. Oh, we were we?
A few Captain and Cokes, and we'd go back to the Hilton. What I don't understand. Now I feel like a jackass. He's like, I work at a plastic factory during the day, and I thought that I'd be with my princess and millionaire, billionaire, OnlyFans goddess. I guess I just feel a bit naive at this point. And she says, don't say that. Listen, of course you're cute. Jump up, bunny, grab it. I am so thankful to call you my friend. Ooh, that's the dagger right in the heart. And you are...
Yeah, the friend zone right there. The friend zone.
Such a big supporter of me, but I do have a husband, and that's just how it is. I'm sorry if you had intentions in mind, but I am taken. I'm sorry if you thought that you could f me, but that's not gonna happen. Is pretty what that translates to. Also, you can say someone's cute.
Oh, LMAO, I can't wait for those last two sentences I wrote to get taken completely.
I guess between man and woman, it feels a bit wrong. Does it not? Or I don't know.
Oh, I felt cute's playful. It'd be one thing if she said you're sexy.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Well, yeah, it could be joking. But yeah, if someone...
She didn't, you know, saying cute is like non-committal, right? If she had said, you know, you're sexy, you're hot, something like that, that would be different.
It's like, oh, you look cute today. I don't think that's bad. You're wearing cute shoes. Those shoes are cute. Oh.
It's non-committal.
And he says, I don't need you. Ooh! There are a whole lot of other streamers that deserve my time this morning. Just to let you know, bitch, you're not the only hot chick on Twitch, all right? As they say, there are plenty of fish in the sea. Fish without husbands, too. You liar skank. What?
That escalated quickly. All right then. Sure, go on.
Oh, I will no longer be dedicating 1/3 of my day to moderating your chat. Let the wild beasts roam. And if you need me, I'll be in St. Peach's chat from now on. You may not know this, but I actually do watch her streams after yours are over. And I've been a 6-month subscriber as well. I donated her $30 the other day and said her outfit looked cute. She said, I'm a sweetheart. Things are looking up for me and down for you. This is...
Is he actually writing? Oh my god. He's actually writing like this. Things are looking up for me. What the? Seriously? Seriously? That's insane.
This is where I bid you farewell. Have fun being a liar bitch face. Oh, and is this a tweet from the guy? Yo, at Twitch support, I need your help on a purchase I made. The girl I donated $13,000 to spent her countless hours moderating her chat and keeping creeps away and spent time being there for an emotional level on your website is actually married and I want a refund.
Yeah, that's not how that works. You moron.
13 grand. Also, it is funny that because then you're looking at your moderator status as basically a pimp or like a prostitute. You're like, well, I've put in so much money that after a few Captain Cokes, we'll see what happens.
Right? Like, Jesus Christ, you literally are acting like she's your prostitute.
After this person leaves and takes his juicy 13K away, the wild beasts are free to roam. Well, we have to have interviews to find his replacement. I look at this guy, right? Sure, he has what I have, which is the obese man, sleepy eyes. Probably choking a lot while he sleeps because he has sleep apnea, much like myself. What is it about this situation that this guy just looks like a creep? I mean, maybe it's just because it seems pathetic.
Dude wants me, on a pickle, floating around in the pool. I'm in.
He's willing to do that? In a bikini?
Sure. I'll head out to, Bath and Body Works or wherever they sell bikinis. I don't.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Streamers should be friendly, but within reason. Yes. Yes. Very, very reasonably put.
I don't know a lot about.
I mean, why am I kind of coming around to them? I'll go to any places where they sell bikinis. I don't know, Victoria's Secret, Bed Bath & Beyond. They smell good, too. I will smell them. I send it to you. But let's move on from Amaranth. This is Video Isn't All About Her. We need to talk about other beautiful little kittens. Or, as I like to say, Kiara Kitty's moderator.
Oh,
this might be one of my favorite videos on the internet. A man of power with his queen. And she got to hang out with him. She's hanging out with him in the car. Someone donates $5 to her. And it says, make the world and yourselves happier. Kiss him, Kiara. You have the longer neck, and it's 2019. Make the move. First off, calling a Twitch person like gooseneck, basically. You're
like, hey, giraffe neck, go and kiss your mod for me for $5. What the fuck?
The longer neck, so you have to be the one to instigate. There's part of me too here which wonders, did he tell a person in chat to say something? Did he do something?
Thing ever. The hell happened to my thing? Yeah, that's very true. What happened to my voiceover? What happened to my headphones? My headphones just disconnected for no reason. And voiceover just stopped. Like, I have no idea what the fuck just happened. I've charged my headphones and everything. And it's just... Did my computer just stop? Damn, bikinis are sold at Target. Yeah, they are. Okay. I don't know what the hell happened. Let's plug these in again, just in case. And let's see what happened. Okay. Like, there is no voice at all. I don't understand what happened. Like, I don't even know where I am on my computer right now because voiceover is not on. Let's see if I leave the keyboard.
Answer call button.
If I
now. Well done.
Hold on.
Answer call.
Hello. I don't know what happened. I can't tell either. Yeah. Okay, it's back. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. I think what happened is I think my case died. Like my headphone case. I think that died, but the earbuds are still okay. If that makes sense. So stay here, everybody. Come back.
Not a bad move. You know what that's called? Peer pressure. You can also see his chest start to flutter. Like you can tell he's like, oh my God, it's happening. I love that little glance at her. Deers are skittish. So he knows that if there's any abrupt movements, she's going to be like, no, whatever. So what does he do? He keeps it cool, but he gives her the eye dart he does. He thinks he's even more locked in because she puts her head on his.
The computer I got.
There's a little physical connection. He sits there. He's not being pushy with it either. Her looking at him and then him looking at her like, I guess we have to do it. And she's like, Her face right there where it's just like, no. Oh, you know what he does? He looks back at the chat like, remember what they said? He looks back at her.
Do you have fun today?
Did you have a good time today? That's period on the day. It's already done. This interaction's done. We're just in a car together.
We're not doing anything now. Screw it. Screw this. No kissing. Nope.
Ooh. I think he kind of perches his lips together. He does like. What's sad too is at the end of that too, he kind of does his look back like he kind of knows he fucked up. He was like. I feel bad for them in a way. These guys dig their own graves. That's fine. I'm looking at it more from the angle of like completely delusional, like mentally unwell people. But I'm just saying, is it not, there is like a weird back and forth with something of a dangling the carrot aspect. You want to be friendly and be like, you know, this person does spend a lot of time in my chat, whatever. And I've gotten to know them, so I wouldn't mind meeting up with them. Because I bet you there's so many interactions where it's like, yeah, I met my mod, we're having a good time. And it can be like a female guy fiasco that isn't, you know, so now. Weird. Oh. As soon as you start a video and you're like in a dark room and it's like an Android cell phone webcam. Also, he's definitely like in his grandparents' house or something.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. He kind of laughs like you a little bit.
Why are these mods so fucking creepy? Why are they so creepy?
I think he said, oh, sweet child. Oh, sweet child.
Dear kitty, you soon will see.
That's fucked up to watch that one last because now it gives the context everything. I mean, I'm sure he's trying to be romantic, or like anime, kind of like, you'll soon see. But it just reads like a serial killer.
It does. Ow. It reads like just this creepy serial killer dude. And he's just like, I'm coming for you.
And also had the same color grading as the Jeffrey Dahmer show with Evan Peters.
Shout out to my girl, Kiara Kitty.
So this user is well known in many communities on Twitch, apparently. He stream type user Unicorn and appeared on her stream. Oh, look at that. Dude, little gremlin in the back. Oh, no! He's got that little no-neck thing. Unicorn was in New York streaming in public, and he found her so he could meet her. Which the whole interaction is just so...
You won't hear voiceover because I correctly
cringy and weird.
How did
and she
do that?
Like keeps asking him to leave. She's like, okay, leave, please.
See you next time.
It's so weird how there's just different contexts of things. You put some stuff out. See, this is why I hate feeling sympathy for anything, because then they do shit like this. Like just crawls out of the ground and just like shows up somewhere. Come on, man. Let's just branch out of Twitch for a second. We're looking at too many creeps walking around in the dark alleys of the world. Let's go to the digital alleys. Discord mods. So we have a user named Blaze here. Hello, Eva. I notice you have a profile picture of a very beautiful but also intelligent looking female.
An intelligent looking female, huh? Interesting. He's definitely got kids buried under the floorboards. Yeah.
And I am under the presumption that this goddess is you.
Oh,
it is
God.
quite astonishing to see a
That's
female
creepy.
here in Pummel Party official Discord. What is Pummel Party?
Yeah, what is a pummel party? I'm not sure I want to know what a pummel party is.
I am quite popular around here in this server, so if you require any guidance, please throw me a mention. I will assist you at any hour, day, or night. And, before you are mistaken, I do not seek your hand in a romantic way.
Oh, that's bullshit. That's bullshit right there.
Whoa. I am not opposed in the event you are interested in me, as many women often are. Love the confidence. I'm a man of standard, and I do not bow to just any female that comes my way, unlike my peers. So rest assured that I will not be in the way of your gaming and socializing experiences. Consider me a player 2.
Oh my lord. What a dork.
Companion, a partner, and perhaps we can enjoy some video games together sometime. I see you play Pummel Party. And are you good at minigames? I am a minigame aficionado, so I'd be happy to assist you in games. Platonically, of course. Unless you, like many others, change your mind on that. I look forward to our future together as...
It's like... Oh, okay.
Friends, of course. I love that cheeky little, like, as friends. But me and you know goddamn well that's not gonna happen. Why can't I have a nice Discord interaction like that, dude? Hello, I saw you had a Princess Bubblegum profile picture. At first, I thought this was a boyfriend-girlfriend picture, right? Just on glance, and it's like, one of my moderators flew thousands of miles to meet me. That feels pretty, like, normal. That doesn't feel too, like, I hate to use the word pathetic. It's not pathetic. I just mean, like, hey, he came to fly out and we got to hang out. Cool, see you in chat. That feels fine. But then it's just his response. And he immediately starts off a little too strong. You're even more beautiful in person. That feels strong. That feels like two different conversations. One person saying that's friendly, and he kind of starts off with the romantic side. It is an honor getting to guard your Twitch chat. Here's to many more years of moderating and cheeky little donations here and there.
It is an honor to guard your Twitch chat. Jesus Christ, what do you think you are, a knight?
Oh, cheeky is what really threw it there to me. Cheeky, like cute. You know, he's like, you look beautiful today. I'm outside your house. It's a $3 donation too. She's like, come on, dude, if you're gonna stalk me, at least throw me some fucking more money. You know what I mean? We would not be talking about this kind of Discord moderatorship if we didn't throw in Pokimane.
Morning, Pokey. How are you? Good to see you. Oh, cute dance moves.
The queen bee is what I would say, right? But I like on r/Pokimane, someone just put, how do I date Pokey?
Oh God. How do I date Pokimane? Okay.
I've been donating and getting her attention. She always smiles when I do. Oh. She always smiles when I do, so she's just like, and she's like, oh, we have a cut. Like, is it that kind of connection where it's like, he's like, or is she just already laughing and he's like, we're so simpatico. I love when
that's probably more like what it is. She's already laughing and then he smiles and then he's like, oh my God, look at how closely connected we are.
she says thank you in my Twitch username. Well, yeah, it's like a $2, $5 donation, whatever. God, Twitch names are always the worst. Thank you, Slimy Panda. Where should I take her when we do? What should we do? God, I can't wait for us to get married. Okay, this might be a troll post. I can't wait for us to get married is pretty crazy. Which, because then you have also like some troll posts like this that I think are fun, but I'd like to think that they are real. But there's some screenshots here of some other stuff of Discord mods on TikTok of random things of a guy sitting crisscross and he just has like the fattest legs imaginable. I looked at his legs and I'm like, those are what my legs look like. Me at age of 34 moderating 60 Discord servers and e-girls flagging my messages begging for my attention.
Oh, mods are special people. You'll have to catch rest on replay. No worries. No worries. Oh, that's just insane. These mods, these mod people are just crazy. I don't understand how they even function with this much simp in them, but it is what it is. I am gonna quickly go to the bathroom, and then we're going to pull up CPAC because question period will be on now. So I'll be right back, and I will pull up question period. Okay. We are back. And it is time for us to pull up our CPAC. And we'll see what craziness is going on in QP. All right.
Cooperation and collaboration on shared priorities. While these leaders represent
we are at declarations and statements. Okay. Good. Good.
Future for northern communities. This council is meeting with federal ministers and officials in Ottawa to highlight and advocate.
Yeah, we're almost done with statements and declarations.
These include advancing reconciliation and modern treaties, protecting our environment while sustainably developing our economy, and building necessary infrastructure like the Mackenzie Valley Highway. Again, welcome to the council leaders, and I look forward to their continued progress in advancing northern priorities.
This guy seems...
Thank you. Message from Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Come on.
Questions.
Hey!
The honourable member.
Thornhill.
$400 million Liberal scandal has paralyzed Parliament for a week. Mr. Speaker, you yourself
Where's
ruled
Polly
that the NDP Liberals have violated a House order to turn over evidence to the police for a criminal investigation into their corruption. They are defying your ruling, and they have grinded this place to a halt. The auditor said that there's 400 million tax dollars and 186 conflicts of interest in questions. Canadians can get accountability today if they hand over the documents to the police. So what's in those documents, and how bad is it?
Mr. Speaker, I want to start by noting the events in Vancouver yesterday at a protest. We unequivocally condemn those events and those actions.
No,
it is
you don't.
absolutely unacceptable to burn the Canadian flag and to chant death to Canada. It is also unacceptable to deny and celebrate the events of October 7th and to champion the acts of a terrorist group. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
That's not what the question was.
The honourable member
Thank you.
from Thornhill.
Glad that they found the courage to condemn something in this House, but whatever is in those documents, back to the matter at hand that I asked about, must be really bad if they're willing to hide the corruption. Months ago, the Auditor General found that the Liberal appointees gave nearly 400 million tax dollars to their own companies, 186 conflict of interest. I'll ask again for the 7th day in a row, will the NDP end the cover-up, give proof to the police so we can get accountability for the corruption and get Parliament back to work?
The
7 days.
The government in the House of
Oh,
Commons.
fuck off, Karina.
Mr. Speaker, I think it's important I read your ruling into the record because the Conservatives didn't hear it the first time. The chair, that's you, Mr. Speaker, is of the view that it would be valuable to afford an opportunity for the concerns expressed by the RCMP as well as by the Auditor General to be addressed fully, and I would hope for a mutually satisfactory solution to be arrived at. I believe the best way for this to be achieved would be to follow the usual course for a prima facie question of privilege, that is a referral to the Standing Committee on Procedure and House Affairs. We're ready to send this matter to committee. When will the Conservatives do that?
You're the standing
Ask
power.
all members, please, not to take the floor unless they've been recognized
You
by the
have
chair.
the
honourable
ability
member
to do
from
this.
Thornhill.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, the House Leader missed the part where you told them that they're holding this House in contempt. If there is nothing to hide in those documents, then they should be able to hand them over. $400 million to Liberal friends, 186 conflicts of interest from a government that knows really well what a conflict of interest is, all while a record number of Canadians can't afford to eat. How bad are these documents that they would hold this place up for 7 days, defying your
Very
order,
bad.
and to hide the $400 million that they gave to their friends?
The
Very
honourable
bad.
Leader of the government in the House of Commons.
she's going to
Mr.
repeat it.
Speaker, we're ready for this matter to move on to the Procedure and House Affairs Committee, just as you ruled.
No,
The only
you're in
party that doesn't want
contempt.
that to happen
They
are
need
the
to go to the
Conservatives. They're trying
RCMP
to spin
now.
out of their own obstruction because they don't want this to go to committee, because what they will hear is expert after expert talking about the egregious abuse of power that the Conservatives are trying to do in this
What
place
the
to
fuck?
override the rights of Canadians. We're ready to
Gaslighting
move
bullshit
forward, Mr.
is
Speaker.
that?
It's only the Conservatives that are afraid of a vote. Thank you.
The honourable member for Charlesbourg, Haute-Saint-Charles. Mr. Speaker, in La Presse
That
today,
actually just
Sergeant
gets said.
Vincent Moore of the Montreal Police Eclipse Squad deplores the fact that gang members are using firearms without fear of consequences. He says, "It's gone completely crazy. I've never seen anything like it in my 18-year career. Nowadays, it's not uncommon for someone to be arrested, and they say, well, it doesn't matter because they'll let me off with just a piece of paper and I'll do it again. They're no longer afraid of being
It's
arrested
true.
by the police because they know there'll be no consequences.
Nobody cares.
Why have this PM and the bloc allowed criminals to rule our communities?"
Nobody cares
the Honourable
anymore.
Minister of Justice. I appreciate
Being
the
arrested isn't
question
a
because it gives me the
deterrent
opportunity
anymore.
to underscore what we've done. With respect to firearms, we've invested roughly $400 million against
that's
guns and
an
gangs.
interesting
Was the
number.
Conservatives, like the member across the way, voted against. With respect to administration of justice, yes, there is an issue with bail conditions. When we look at bail, we have to verify if the Crown is contesting it, if there's enough room in detention centers. It's a good question to speak to Legault about. The Honourable member for Haute-Saint-Charles. Mr. Speaker, the
Don't
Minister of
ask us,
Justice has
ask the
blamed
province.
the Quebec Premier on 2 times for something they changed, that the federal government
Jesus
changed.
Christ.
And that's why this legislation is causing so much issues in
Don't
Quebec.
blame
and,
us, blame the provinces
And the Sergeant
for
Guiguerre
federal
of Montreal
things.
Police said
This
that
is
people are
insane.
saying before this ruling, people on the street would tell us they didn't want to go to jail for long, but now
They want. Here's the. I muted it for a second. They've freaking what shouldn't be federal jurisdiction, they want to make federal jurisdiction. And what is federal jurisdiction, they're like, no, it's the provinces. The provinces have to do it.
People who decide with respect to bail are judges and justices of the peace who are appointed by who? Mr. Legault. So if you have any problem with respect to that, the administration of justice, you have to speak with Mr. Legault.
Wow.
In terms of space in courts and detention centers, and perhaps some issues with rulings they've made as well.
That is insane.
The honourable member for La Prairie.
He just blamed
Mr. Speaker,
the provinces
enough time
for bail
was wasted
reform.
for farmers.
Or lack of
All
bail
parties
reform.
voted in favour of Bill
That is
C-282 on June 21st,
bullshit.
2023. It was sent to the Senate over a year ago. There is one clause. They've been studying one clause for over a year, all because 2 unelected senators, Paul Bohm and Peter Harder, are dithering because they disagree. 2 non-elected individuals want to overturn the vote of elected representatives from all these parties. They were appointed by the Liberals, who in the Liberal government is going to explain democracy to their 2 friends in the Senate. The Honourable Minister. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I can assure you that we agree entirely with respect to this question with the bloc.
Oh, do you?
Supply management is very important to our country, particularly important for how we occupy our lands. We want to be there to support our farmers. And yes, we do expect the Senate to work diligently on this issue and to be sent back as quickly as possible. Thank you. The honourable member for La Prairie. C-282. Well, all parties voted in favor of it. This is the second time we've tabled this bill.
Yep.
We've been studying it from all angles since 2020. Remember, we're talking about one clause, and even the Holy Scriptures haven't been scrutinized like this. And now there are 2 senators who think that we're all fools and want to overturn the vote of 338 elected representatives of the people.
Of course the French
enough is
guy
enough. Will
brings
the
up the
Liberals ask
Bible.
their 2 friends to stop blocking democracy? The Honourable Minister of National Revenue. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. As you know, we made a big decision as a government to ensure that the Senate to be independent. And since we've done this 9 years ago, we've appointed senators that are independent. I think it's a concept that the Bloc should understand, independence.
Oh, wow. We're fighting today. We are fighting today. Jesus Christ.
Harder than ever for people across the country. But we've just learned that big property owners use AI software. They've had a secret agreement to increase rents. The NDP tabled a motion to get to the bottom of this story, and the Liberals and the Conservatives blocked this motion. It's shameful. Canadians cannot find affordable housing. So why are the Liberals and the Conservatives profiting big property owners instead of protecting people? The Honourable Minister of
Holy Frenchness.
Housing. Mr. Speaker, as my colleague knows full well,
what happened to
essential
what
to
happened
invest
to the translator? Why does she sound
and
drunk?
not just identify challenges on this side of the House? It's important to advance investment for building affordable housing. It's essential to support communities as well.
Investments to actually get homes built, not simply point fingers and try to identify problems with no solutions coming forward.
The honourable member from Port Moody, Coquitlam.
The housing minister
Hey,
needs
we're
to
back
tell
to
his
English.
members to stop blocking the presence of these CEOs in committee. For Canadians who rent, finding a home they can afford is nearly impossible, and these rich corporate landlords are using artificial intelligence software to potentially collude and jack up rents.
Now, how can we... What are your sources here? How do you know that they're using AI to do that?
The NDP proposed a study to expose rent gouging, but the Liberals and Conservatives teamed up and blocked it. Canadians deserve a government that protects them. So why are the Liberals, along with the Conservatives, continuing to protect profits of corporate landlords over renters struggling to find a home?
Good question. Once again, I'm going to encourage all members not to take the floor unless
I bet you a Liberal or an NDP said something because he's calling them out.
To tell me to increase investments to build more
He's
affordable
calling them
housing.
out. He's
The
only
NDP
calling
have made a
out
point
Conservative
to point out
members.
where there may be some challenges where I actually agree that we need to address. The difference is on our side of the House, we actually are advancing solutions to address them. We are putting billions of dollars on the table to build more affordable housing, to build more cooperative
What about all
housing,
the
and to help
abandoned houses that
nonprofits
could
buy
be
up that
fixed?
low-cost housing on the market to keep it affordable forever. If the NDP want to turn their mind to
Affordable
solutions,
forever,
I'll listen.
eh?
Until then, I'm going to continue acting.
Yeah, you are acting.
The honourable member from Regina Capel.
The Liberal government is violating a parliamentary order to hand over evidence to the RCMP. At issue is the Auditor General's findings that officials at SDTC broke conflict of interest laws 186 times and funneled $400 million of taxpayers' money into their own companies. All this at a time when Canadians can barely afford to eat or heat and house themselves. Now, by refusing to accept your ruling, they have effectively...
You know, I understand that they're trying to go for a rhyming
the housing
here,
crisis, the inflation crisis, and the
but
crime
they really
crisis
should be
this
saying
government
feed,
unleashed.
heat,
Why
and
not
house
end the
themselves,
cover-up,
not
hold
eat,
the
heat, and
lawbreakers to
house
account, and let
themselves,
Parliament
because
get
we're
back
not
to work.
eating each other yet.
The honourable leader of the government in the House of Commons.
False, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that member sat in your chair at one point, and I think he would have an interesting perspective if the opposition was not following his ruling as he is doing.
Oh my God.
I quote, and I repeat, what you said, Mr. Speaker, is I believe the best way for this to be achieved would be to follow the usual course of a prima facie question privilege, that is, a referral to the Standing Committee on Procedure and House Affairs.
However, you're in
We're willing
contempt,
to vote in favor of
so
it.
now
The
it has
only
to go to the
party that is
RCMP.
holding Parliament up are the Conservatives because they don't want the truth out there. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Then ask the honourable member from South Shore St. Margaret's, please, not to take the floor unless recognized. The honourable member...
Fuck you.
Order. The honourable member from Regina Capel.
if she scrolled up just a little bit more on your ruling on the website, Mr. Speaker, she would see where you ruled that withholding evidence after a parliamentary production order is a contempt of Parliament, Mr. Speaker. We're talking
He can believe that the best way to handle it is to go through committee, but you're not producing the documents, so
and while Conservatives are putting forward real solutions to lower taxes, to make housing more affordable, and to end the crime wave that this Prime Minister unleashed, this government is going to great lengths to keep this information hidden. They're effectively obstructing justice. Why not let Parliament get back to work and hand over the evidence to the RCMP?
Because nobody wants to go to jail.
The Honourable Leader of the Government in the House of Commons.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm not even sure the House Leader of the Opposition believes his own spin. Like, he could scroll down a little bit and see what you asked of him, which was to prepare a motion that you said you would accept to send it to committee to be studied. Mr. Speaker, we welcome that. We will get this studied. Let's get this out of the House. But there's only one group of MPs that don't want that to happen. Is she intentionally being this stupid? They are trying to abuse the extraordinary powers of this place, override the rights of Canadians.
I feel like she's intentionally being this dumb.
Independence, Mr. Speaker, that's not acceptable.
The Honourable Member from Leeds Grenville, Thousand Islands, Rideau Lakes.
Look, this is a case of $400 million and 186 conflicts of interest that are benefiting Liberal insiders lining their pockets while Canadians are lined up at food banks. The response from the government to a parliamentary order to produce the documents is, first of all, to break the order so that they can bury it at committee, while Conservatives want to make sure that this corruption, this scandal, sees the full daylight that it's deserved and a referral to Canada's Royal Canadian Mounted Police so they can decide to take a criminal investigation. Oh, wait, we've learned that they are already investigating the latest corruption with these Liberals. Will they turn over the documents today?
The Honourable Leader of the Government in the House of Commons.
Mr. Speaker, your ruling was very clear. Send this to committee. There's only one group of
that
MPs
wasn't
that
the
are afraid
oh
of
my
that
god
going to committee, and we are prepared
that was
to
not
vote on that, Mr.
the
Speaker.
ruling.
Let's send it to committee. Let's have that debate. The only group of MPs
that debate
obstructing their own obstruction, because they don't actually want to help Canadians. All they want to do is serve themselves and their own partisan
debate
interest. Mr. Speaker,
this isn't a debate. This is you need to produce documents.
The Honourable Member from Leeds Grenville, Thousand Islands and Rideau Lakes.
She says she wants to get it out of the House. She wants to get it out of the sunlight, the daylight. They want to bury it at committee. They don't want Canadians to know about the latest example of liberal corruption. We see that conflicts of interest are very common over there. That Prime Minister broke the law twice. The Public Safety Minister broke the law. The Trade Minister broke the law. The Liberal appointed chair of this Green Slush Fund broke the law. Every time these Liberals get a chance, they enrich their friends. They want to hide it from Canadians. Conservatives want to get the truth. We want to get accountability. And we want Parliament to be able to get back to work for Canadians. Will they turn over the documents today?
Order.
Children, be quiet.
The Honourable Member from the Honourable Minister of Innovation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. We already have the bloc, but now we learn we have the blocker-in-chief, the Conservative, Mr. Speaker. How ridiculous for Canadians watching at home. They are blocking their own motion, Mr. Speaker. Can you imagine that? The Conservative are blocking their own motion. Mr. Speaker, we know the Conservatives know how to count to 6, so let me explain to them. There's not been one report.
Wow.
There's not been 2 reports. There's not been 3 reports. There's been 4
make
independent
this guy be
reports,
quiet.
Mr. Speaker, to go to the bottom of this, Mr. Speaker.
Somebody please make this guy stop talking. You shouldn't let him talk.
Order, please. The Honourable Member for Lévis-Lotbinière. Mr. Speaker, according to one senior civil servant, there's a lot of negligence and laziness, and there's also sheer incompetence, and the situation is simply unsustainable. And the SDTC...
Holy shit, this French translator is terrible.
When it comes to the allocation of funds. Canadians' tax dollars are being squandered without consideration, and nothing's being done on the other side of the House to remedy the situation. Will this Liberal government deal with this scandal as quickly as possible? The Honourable Minister of Innovation. Mr. Speaker, the Conservatives are waking up as if this was news. We took action quickly and decisively, Mr. Speaker. Not only was there one report, there were 4 presented. To
make this translator fucking have some coffee or something.
We
Jesus.
investigated, we took action, and it is time, Mr. Speaker, for this Parliament to resume its work in the interest of all Canadians.
Time.
Thank you. The Honourable Minister for
Turn over
Le
the
Vide Mr. Speaker, in the Green Slush Fund scandal, the government is openly refusing to provide the documents required for the RCMP to investigate corruption at SDTC, where the Liberals
Social
allowed their friends to benefit from taxpayers' dollars,
Canada.
as uncovered by the Auditor General. Mr. Speaker, will the Liberals put an end to the cover-ups and provide the police with the evidence so that the Parliament can work in the interest of all Canadians?
Stop yelling! You are not in
the Honourable Minister of Public Services and Procurement.
You are not in the
Thank
House.
You, very
you
much,
are in
Mr.
another room.
Speaker. Let's be very clear. My colleague has already clearly explained this, but since we're talking about the RCMP, allow me to provide a comment from the Commissioner. I'd like to underscore that
the
Commissioner
RCMP
that was supposed
to have
operationally
had
independent
a conflict of
and
interest
it
with
respects
Trudeau during
the independence
Nova Scotia
of the
mass
police
shooting?
force. This principle guarantees that the government cannot direct or influence the enforcement of law, and that includes members of this House. The Honourable Member for Shefford. All age groups, 79% of the population are in favour of increasing old age security. 79%.
Yeah, not just 79%
of
of seniors,
you
but
don't have to be
79%
between
of
65
everybody.
and 74. Everyone agrees. Why is that? Because people respect their elders, because the world shows solidarity, and if we can improve the living conditions of those who need it, well, we're all for it. Even in the chamber, we agree, except the Liberals. When will they listen to
And
reason,
this chick's a
show
conservative.
they have a heart, and give C319 royal recommendation? The Honourable Minister of Employment and Seniors. Mr. Speaker, the Bloc
she's Bloc, right?
has never taken one opportunity to support seniors. In terms of the GIS, they voted against it. For dental
because you
care,
hid shit in there
that
shouldn't have been in
14,000
there.
people from Shefford had benefited from. As of today, the Bloc voted against it. For all the housing measures for seniors, the Bloc was against it. When will they say yes to our seniors, Mr. Speaker? The Honourable Member for Shefford. Since he was appointed Minister of Seniors, the only achievement of the member for Gatineau has been to turn his back on the 65 to 74 age group. All he's done is play petty politics when it's time to step up to the plate. He's promoting Liberal interests when it's time to think
Why
of our
did you
collective
guys
interest.
put a deadline of the 29th?
An old-fashioned politician
Why didn't you just
with no
vote
sense of
no
state.
confidence if
It's not
this is
too
how you
late.
feel?
He can still
Bloc
act
people.
for the common good. Will the minister finally get his act together, drop the partisanship, and give C319 the royal recommendation?
Oh, that got some.
The Honourable
That got
Minister
some
of Employment and
happiness out
Seniors.
of people.
Mr. Speaker, my track record for seniors and all the Liberals from Quebec members, all our achievements, well, we could compare the two, what they've done at the Bloc. They voted against dental care. They voted against the increase in GIS.
Yeah,
they voted
because
against
dental care is already
for
covered
housing
in
investment
Quebec.
for
They don't
seniors.
need that shit.
Every time
And
we
you weren't letting
made a
people opt
proposal
out.
to help Quebec seniors, the VOC rose together against them. The 35 Quebec Liberals from members from Quebec always voted for these measures. The Honourable Member for Shefford. What's more, the Minister offers conspiracy
It is
theories
very hard
to explain
to,
why he's no intention of doing anything for seniors.
follow the French
The
because
big
the
bad
translator
separatists
is so hard
are preparing a
because, like,
secret
so hard to
plan so
follow
you
'cause
don't get your
she's-
pensions. Ooh.
She's trying to listen.
Old fear-mongering from the
repeat,
80s.
so
He's
it
talking about
breaks
winning
up.
conditions and independence. So are
Doesn't
we.
flow very
we
well.
think that improving seniors' living conditions is a win-win situation and it helps ensure their independence. Instead of scaring people, can the minister get to work for people and give C319 its royal recommendation? The Honourable Minister of Employment and Seniors.
It's very
I'd like to
tumultuously
tell you, Mr.
French,
Speaker,
that's for sure. Holy fuck.
what seniors are afraid of. They're afraid of having their dental care removed, that the thousands of seniors, millions of Canadians have benefited from. And they're wondering, these seniors in Gatineau especially, what the Bloc is doing with the Conservatives.
What the Bloc is doing?
In terms of austerity, cutting
Oh my
daycare
goodness, what is
spots,
the
cutting
Bloc
dental
doing?
care, cutting health care. The Bloc and the Conservatives, that's the real risk for our seniors and Canadians.
The honourable member from South Shore, St. Margaret's.
There is so much Liberal corruption that they're covering up their cover-up of the $400 million corruption of the Liberal Green Slush Fund. The Speaker ruled that the NDP Liberals violated the House order to turn the Green Slush Fund
sound like
documents
you're
over
gonna
to the
fall
RCMP
apart.
for investigation. How much worse is the corruption that the NDP Liberals are refusing to respect the order of the Speaker, pushing aside all the work of doubling the housing costs that the Liberals have done, inflation and crime? We can get back to the business at this House if the NDP Liberals just end the cover-up and turn the documents over to the RCMP. Why won't they?
The Honourable Leader of the Government in the House of Commons.
Here comes Karina Gould again.
Mr. Speaker, if we're going to be mansplained to, they could at least try and get it right.
Oh my God!
Is that you ruled very clearly.
Oh
that
my
this matter
Jesus
should go to the
fucking
House committee.
Christ.
If the members opposite would like to read your full ruling, they can go do that, or I can table it in the House for them to read. But I would encourage them to not just cherry pick parts of your ruling, but to actually follow it as opposed to what they're doing. We're happy for this matter to move on, for it to go to committee, for it to be studied.
She
It's
just
only the Conservatives that
threw
are
out
holding this place up.
mansplaining.
Honourable member from South Shore, St. Margaret's.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker. Every time I meet with a Liberal, I have to check for my wallet. And they just took $400 million of taxpayer money and funneled it to Liberals in the Green Slush Fund. Why are they ignoring an order of this House? Why are they preventing us from getting to the business of the House, since they won't turn over the documents to the RCMP? If the Prime Minister won't end the cover-up, will at least call a carbon tax election so Canadians can get the Green Slush Fund money back?
I don't know, Carlson,
The
does that
Honourable
answer
Minister
your
of
question?
Justice and Attorney General.
Does this seem tumultuous enough?
You have to search for some semblance of reason. When we talk about what's going on here, let's think about why your ruling says send it back to the committees, Mr. Speaker. Your ruling says that because this has never been done.
So
because you know what happens
petulant.
normally when you ask for documents in your law enforcement? You go to a court of law. You don't go into a partisan arena such as the House of Commons, because a court of law, a judge weighs things called charter interests, like your expectation of privacy, like your right to be free from unreasonable search and seizure. Those are important considerations. We will stand by them every time.
You said nothing.
The Honourable member from Brantford Brant.
Mr. Speaker, the latest $400 million scandal from this Liberal government has paralyzed Parliament. The Auditor General found 186 conflicts of interest, with close to $400 million handed out to corrupt Liberal insiders, all at a time when Canadians cannot afford to eat, heat, or house themselves.
Feed. Say feed.
Begs the question,
Canadians are not eating themselves.
Parliament to a halt simply to hide the truth from Canadians.
Good question. The Honourable Minister of Justice and Attorney General.
Mr. Speaker, I I enjoy the interventions from the member opposite, but I also appreciate his experience as a former Crown prosecutor who used to work closely with the police. And what he would recollect from his past career is that those police operate independently from him as a former Crown, and certainly independently from politicians. Why do they do that, Mr. Speaker? So that we can have confidence in our institutions in this country.
Yeah, so send the documents to the independent police so that they can independently find you guilty of hiding money. Okay? How's that?
Colleagues, please. And ask the honourable member from Wellington Halton Hills, please, not to raise his voice when he is not recognized by the chair. The honourable member. The honourable member from Brantford, Brant.
Speaker, you ruled that the NDP Liberals violated a House order by withholding evidence regarding their $400 million scandal, effectively obstructing justice, to which the Minister of Justice should be aware of. Their refusal to respect your ruling has paralyzed Parliament, pushing aside all our work to address the doubling of housing costs, food inflation, and the rise in crime and chaos. The time to end the cover-up is now.
Yeah, you missed a whole...
When will they hand over
You
the
missed
documents?
Karina Gould yelling about mansplaining.
So that we can get accountability for corruption and get Parliament back to work.
The honourable leader of the government in the House of Commons.
Mr. Speaker, your ruling was clear to send this matter to committee.
Oh, she's getting all quiet and angry.
Conservatives don't like that because they'll hear from experts like the former law clerk who says, in my humble opinion, it is an abuse of the powers for this House to use its power to demand and get documents from the government in order to transfer them to a third party that wouldn't otherwise receive them, or to compel the government to give documents to a third party. Mr. Speaker, expert after expert will tell them this is wrong. We are here to stand up for the rights of Canadians every single day. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I can't believe she's... I can't believe... She's trying to pull the Polyev, like, quiet talk.
Member from Nunavut.
The Liberals are actively refusing reconciliation and evading their obligations required in the honor of the Crown. This government knew for 7 years that the big dock in Fort Chipewyan is contaminated with cancer-causing substances, and for 7 years they covered it up. Rightfully, families are now worried about their children's health and whether they will lose them to cancer. When will this government uphold the honor of the Crown and work with First Nations to ensure their health and safety?
Never. Because thank you for your donation.
The Honourable President of the Treasury Board.
Mr. Speaker, I thank the honourable member for raising this important point. Safety is my top
I truly
priority.
cannot believe that... I can't believe 100% that she is this retarded. Yeah. Then why the fuck doesn't Fergus speak up and say what his ruling was? I don't know.
As Minister of Transport, I hear and understand the concerns from the First Nation communities.
Thank you for your donation.
And it is crucial that remote northern and Indigenous communities have access to safe and reliable connectivity that they need. I will be continuing to work with the Minister of Indigenous Services on this very important matter. Thank you.
The honourable member from Churchill, Kiwatanacaski.
Mr. Speaker, we're now over 1,300 days since the Liberals promised to end long-term boil water advisories. But instead of doing that, the Liberals are fighting. The Liberals promised to end long-term boil water advisories. But instead of doing that, the Liberals are fighting First Nations in court as we speak.
What's with the... Whoa! What's with that, all that cat calling?
Doing their best...
I'm sorry to interrupt the honourable member. Colleagues.
Yeah, and what the fuck? Why are they why are they being like this? She brings up boil water advisory and they're like, oh, ooh. Like, what the fuck?
Order.
Shut
I
up.
ask the honourable member from Churchill, Kiwatanacaski, to start her question from the top.
Mr.
Speaker, we're now over 1,300 days since the Liberals promised to end boiled water advisories, but instead of doing that, the Liberals are fighting First Nations in court as we speak.
Yep.
Doing their best Stephen Harper impression, they are carrying on years of colonialism and denying First Nations the right to clean drinking water. Shamattawa, the lead plaintiff, is taking on Canada, one of the richest countries in the world, whose Prime Minister travels the world pretending to be a leader in human rights, all the while denying Shamattawa clean water. When will this government stop fighting Shamattawa to task and 58 First Nations and deliver clean drinking water?
The Honourable Minister for Indigenous Services.
Mr. Speaker, since 2015, we've lifted 145 long-term boil water advisories together with First
fact that
Nations,
there
and
are
we're
more
gonna
than that
continue
that
till
it still
we get the job
exists
done. And
is
as a matter
pathetic.
of fact, Mr. Speaker, that member opposite has an opportunity to help make sure we never return to the situation that we found ourselves in 2015 with Bill C-61 in committee nearing study. I hope that we'll see a safe passage of that legislation through this House so that no First Nations person ever lives without clean water again.
You've had 9 years to do that. Why? Oh my God! Why couldn't you have done it in 9 years?
The Honourable Member from Buena Vista Burn Trinity.
Mr. Speaker, in the 1980s, the Government of Canada and the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador came together to sign the historic Atlantic Accord. This agreement created an offshore energy sector in our province, delivering economic opportunity and prosperity for generations of families and communities. Now, this government and the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador came together again to strengthen this accord to kickstart a new offshore renewable energy industry.
This guy sounds like he's gonna fucking have a heart attack.
Labradorians can lead the world in offshore wind and clean energy.
The Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Because with a strengthened Atlantic Accord, Atlantic Canada is set to become a global leader in wind hydrogen. There are trillions of dollars on the table, Mr. Speaker, and we should all be excited about the good jobs that that's going to create in our region. And think about the kids who now get to see their folks work at home. But the Conservatives
think about the kids. Think about the kids that get to see their parents work at home, eh? Think about them.
Blocking C-49. And really, how could the member for Central Coast Bay, Notre Dame, fight against the best interests of his community? Because Conservatives try to stand in the way of progress, but we get it done. And Atlantic Canada will
another
produce
slogan.
The clean energy that the world wants, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member from Edmonton, Mill Woods.
After 9 years of NDP Liberals, taxes are up, costs are up, crime is up, and time is up, Mr. Speaker. And now we're dealing with yet another Liberal corruption scandal. The Liberal minister from Edmonton misled Parliamentary Committee when he claimed to have had no contact with his business partner around the time of an alleged $500,000
again
fraud involving someone named Randy. However, when phone records proved otherwise, he changed his story. Why won't he just come clean about this corruption?
The Honourable Order. The Honourable Leader of the Government in the House of Commons.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I've stated many times, if a witness goes to committee, we expect that they provide the information that the committee asks of them. Thank you, Mr.
Speaker. The Honourable Member from Edmonton, Mill Woods.
Speaker, it's clear from that answer that the corruption cover-up continues.
Why do people want to work at home? The separation is what keeps you sane, right? It almost flicked between Manitoba and Afrikaans.
But now that there's clear evidence that he did, it is no coincidence that after months of looking into this matter, there is no other Randy who can be identified other than the Liberal minister from Edmonton. In fact, the minister's own business partner even admitted that the only other Randy ever connected to this company is that minister. So when will the minister finally stand up in this place and admit that he broke the law?
He won't.
The Honourable Leader of the Government in the House of Commons.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I've stated, if a witness goes to committee and the committee asks them for information, We believe that that witness should provide the information as requested of them, and we expect as much. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member from Regina, Wisconsin.
Mr. Speaker, after 9 years of these NDP Liberals, taxes are up, costs are up, crime is up.
What about
and
me?
time
I don't
is
work
up.
from home. Do
In
I
order
count?
to get around the Conflict of Interest Act, the Liberal minister from Edmonton seems to have hired someone known as the other Randy to manage his fraud-ridden medical
The
supply
other
company.
Randy.
Well, just like the other Randy, there should be an other prime minister to run this government. When will the prime minister call a carbon tax election?
That was
so
Canadians
actually
can
pretty.
finally
Have
that was
an
pretty
other
clever.
prime minister.
Here, here. Great question.
That was clever.
The honourable leader of the government in the House of Commons.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. All of us come to this place because we want to serve Canadians. The Liberals on this side of the House want to be able to deliver important measures for them. But we know that we need to be able to earn their trust every single day. What we see from Conservative members of Parliament is that they think
I think Randy will soon take a break from politics to spend time with his family.
Mr. Speaker, but that's not how elections work. We all have to have the humility in this place to work hard for Canadians. It's up to Conservatives.
You don't have
to
humility.
determine whether they want to do that work or whether they don't. Let's get to work. We're ready to do that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
L'honorable député de Montmagny.
The honourable member for Montmagny, Lille, Kamouraska, Rivière-du-Loup. Mr.
Blah, blah,
Speaker,
blah, blah, blah,
you
blah.
yourself decided that this Liberal government had violated an order of the House to hand over evidence to the police to investigate the latest Liberal scandal involving $400 million. Parliament
about a
is
stand?
completely
Can they find a
paralysed by
stand?
Liberal corruption. Canadians are counting on us
That's
to
funny.
do something about the high cost of living, the crime, and the budget chaos that has been impoverishing them for 9 years. When will this Liberal government stop obstructing justice so that we can finally get back to the work that will help Canadians eat, house themselves, and live in dignity, Mr. Speaker?
Never!
The Honourable Minister of Innovation. Mr. Speaker, for Canadians
God, I hate
tuning
that guy.
in to question period today, they might be wondering why the Conservatives are obsessed with an organization that is no longer operational.
Because it got
The
a bunch of
CEO
money it
has
shouldn't have
resigned,
gotten, you
the board
idiot.
has resigned. So here's the question today, Mr.
Jesus
Speaker.
Christ.
The issue is that the Conservatives don't like your order. Why not?
No, they
Maybe
want
in committee
you
we will
to follow
we'll
the
find
order.
out some new things. On this side of the House, we believe in justice, and on this side of the House, Mr. Speaker, we will always defend democracy. The Honourable Member for Lac-Saint-Jean. We've been hearing a lot about asylum seekers these days. What we hear is not always well thought out, though. This makes us forget the main problem. The number of asylum seekers in Quebec exceeds our intake capacity.
Yeah.
We are not able to offer services to these people, and they are living in poverty. And there are provinces that could help them, but they're refusing to help. The only humane way to manage the record influx of asylum seekers is for everyone to do their fair share. And yet, provinces totally refuse to help. The federal government has to take action. This matter is under federal jurisdiction. What is the minister doing right now to get things moving? The Honourable Minister of Immigration, Citizenship and Refugees. Mr. Speaker, the member is right. This is an area of shared jurisdiction with the federal government.
Again, we are a
need
monarchy,
other
nowhere near a
provinces to help
democracy.
and to welcome asylum
Exactly.
seekers. All provinces do need
We're
to
a
do their fair
constitutional
share.
monarchy.
We are working with provinces who are not in agreement because
Is
we
there
need
really
to be humane and
anybody
treat
on
them
this
well.
planet that is
The
a
Honourable
true
Member for Lac-Saint-Jean.
democracy? Because the United States is a constitutional republic. Britain is a monarchy. Like, is there really anybody on this planet that is a true fucking democratic nation?
No actions being taken. Meanwhile, Mr. Speaker, we don't have any more classrooms for the children of asylum seekers in our schools. We don't have teachers for the classrooms that we don't have. We don't have enough food at our food banks. We have a housing crisis. As we speak, though, there are new people at Montreal's Trudeau Airport applying for asylum.
Yep.
They will join the growing ranks of victims of all these crises I just listed. The provinces are doing nothing, the Liberals are doing nothing, and the Conservatives are hiding. Mr. Speaker, what will it take for Canada to do something? The Honourable Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship. Mr. Speaker, there is a shortage of teachers in Quebec and in the rest of Canada. That's not new.
Yeah, because they all went to the States.
Asylum seekers are not the reason there is a teacher shortage in Quebec. I wonder whether the member
It's
read
not the main
letter
reason,
that I
but it
sent
is
to
one
my
of the
Quebec
reasons.
counterpart, Jean-François Roberge. There has been progress, though.
Yellowhead.
After 9 years, NDP Liberals, taxes are up, costs are up, crime is up. This radical environment minister.
Switzerland is a true democratic confederation. But the Liberals can only copy the Democratic American talking points. It is a... Okay. Interesting.
Minister ignored experts who warned Jasper faced a devastating wildfire if nothing was done.
Yep.
His officials discussed canceling prescribed burns for political optics, and now we've learned 50 firefighters and 20 fire trucks were turned away as a third of Jasper burned. Thousands are homeless and nearly $1 billion in damage. Mr. Speaker, will the Minister of Environment stand up and apologize to the people of Jasper for his failure?
That's insane.
The Honourable Minister of the Environment and Climate Change.
Mr. Speaker, the member opposite knows that the discussion between those Parks Canada employees was to determine whether or not they would do prescribed burns or mechanical removals. He knows that, they know that. To try and insinuate that because they didn't want to do prescribed burns, we did nothing is simply false. In fact,
but
Mr.
you
Speaker,
didn't do anything.
We invested 40 times more in forest fighting capacities around Jasper than they did when they were in power, Mr. Speaker, and the company he talks about has no relationship
but
with
how
Parks
many
Canada.
wildfires did they have to deal with when they were in
Happy
power?
to give him the number of the Premier in Alberta if he needs it.
Did he just misgender the Premier of Alberta?
The Honourable Member from Red Deer Lacombe.
After 9 years of this NDP Liberal government, taxes are up, costs are up, crime is up, and time is up. The latest revelation, 50 firefighters and 20 fire trucks were turned away from Jasper National Park just before the town burned. These brave firefighters were ready, willing, and able to fight these fires, but were ordered to stand down. So now the only question that remains is, would the minister categorize the results of his leadership in this as incompetence or negligence?
The Honourable Minister for Official Languages.
Why are you talking?
Colleagues.
Why the fuck is the Minister for Official Languages talking?
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. And my honourable colleague has heard from the Minister for Parks
And
Canada.
instead of
That
returning the
company in
nutrients to
question
the soil,
was
you
in the
remove the
employ of the
nutrients.
government of Alberta, and the matter was resolved. Mr. Speaker, I
The
have
thing
been in
about
regular
mechanical
contact with
removal
Mayor
is it
Ireland
takes longer.
and his council, as have other members in this government, other ministers, other MPs.
This environment
Mr.
minister
Speaker,
is an
we are
idiot.
working with Mayor
Yep.
Ireland, his council, and Jasperites every week to make sure that Jasper comes back better than ever before, because that's what Albertans and Canadians expect of us.
The Honourable Member from Red Deer Lacombe.
Mr. Speaker, 4 years ago, Parks Canada put out a tweet that said they would be installing a sprinkler system
let's
to
see.
protect the Jasper town site.
'Cause talking
Even
is
the
part
minister's
of
own
language.
officials seem to know that water is better at stopping fires than is carbon tax. Yet there is no indication that these sprinklers were ever installed, despite a tender notice being posted in 2021. 3 years before the devastating
Jesus
fire.
Christ.
Can the minister confirm how many permanent and mobile sprinklers were operational and deployed in Jasper to save homes and businesses? Just the number, please, even if it rhymes with zero.
Oh,
The Honourable
shit.
Minister for the Environment and Climate Change.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, instead of spreading disinformation and misinformation in this House, Mr. Speaker, I actually went to Jasper, and the sparkling system has been installed
The
by
sparkling
Parks Canada.
system?
I went to Jasper, and the sparkling system has been installed
The
by
sparkling system. Yes, that's what he was asking about. The sparkling system. Not the sprinkler system. No. The sparkling system.
In collaboration with the work that we've been doing with the city of Jasper, I'd be happy to show him where it is in the city, Mr. Speaker.
Colleagues.
You know, I often wonder if the Liberal Party... I often wonder if the Liberal MPs jerk each other off instead of finishing inside their wives.
To only take the floor, so not only that we can hear the questions and answers, and I'm also referring to the Honourable Member of Lakelands, please.
Sparkling system is exactly the opposite, I fear. Right? It's just... That is not what he... No. We do not need a sparkling system. No.
If we only take the time just when we have the microphone to speak so that we can all hear, especially people who require the use of translation. It's being respectful for our colleagues to making sure that they can hear the questions.
Now everybody needs to be quiet so that everybody can hear.
The Honourable Member from King's Hants.
Speaker, Stephen Harper referred to Atlantic Canada, and I quote, a culture of defeat. When the Conservatives were in government...
The Honourable Member, colleagues.
Children, I literally just said this. Shut the fuck up.
Colleagues, the more time that I'm spending up on my feet, the less time we have for questions. So I'm going to ask members, please.
Fergus, have a backbone.
The Honourable Member from King's Hands from the top, please.
Princess
Speaker,
Sparkles is a very
Harper
different take from Little
Atlantic
Princess
Canada
Sprinkles.
as I quote, a culture
Yes.
of defeat. When the Conservatives were in government, when they amended the Atlantic Accords, they put our region's interests in the back seat. Just ask Bill Casey. As it relates to Bill C-49, our government has worked with the government of Nova Scotia. We've worked with Newfoundland and Labrador because the legislation represents billions of economic opportunity. The Conservatives stood in the way every single time. Can the Minister of Housing provide an update to this House about why this bill matters for Nova Scotia?
If you need a translator for English, you shouldn't be a politician.
Minister for Housing, Infrastructure and Communities.
Mr. Speaker, I thank my colleague for the question and for his advocacy for the economy in Nova Scotia. There's a few reasons we got involved in politics. Creating good jobs at home and protecting the environment are among them. The behavior of Conservative MPs from Nova Scotia, Newfoundland and Labrador in this file is absolutely ridiculous. You have to ask yourself why they oppose good jobs at home. I expect it's because it protects the environment too, and their leader has told them they're not allowed to talk about climate change unless it's to visit school kids and tell them carbon dioxide is just plant food. Nothing to worry about. Mr. Speaker, this legislation is going to make a meaningful difference, create good paying jobs on the East Coast, and protect our environment.
Hey, idiot. It is plant food, and it's carbon monoxide that's the killer, not carbon oh my god. Oh my Jesus fuck. This guy's a moron.
The Honourable Member from Charleswood, St. James, Assiniboia, Headingley.
Yesterday, on October 7th, while burning the Maple Leaf, Sami Doon terrorist sympathizers openly called for death to Canada, death to the United States, and death to Israel. After 9 years of this Prime Minister, sadly calls for death to Canada, and our allies have now been normalized. Yep. Sami Doon operates as an arm of a listed terrorist organization in Canada. Will the Prime Minister protect Jewish Canadians from homegrown extremism and list Sami Doon as a terrorist organization?
The Honourable Minister for Foreign Affairs.
If there's one thing today we will be able to agree is that we both condemn what happened yesterday.
You know why it happened? It happened because of assholes like you not condemning this shit openly and outwardly and just oh yeah, we condemn all hatred everywhere.
Streets of Vancouver talking about. And that's why we will always condemn any form of anti-Semitism. And
No,
I'm
you
convinced
won't.
that everybody in this House will condemn any form of anti-Semitism. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member from Toronto, St. Paul's.
Mr. Speaker, in March of this year, Sammy Doon paraded through my riding to intimidate our Jewish community.
Yep.
Now we see videos of Sammy Doon members in our streets calling for the death of Canada. Long live October 7th, and calling the Hamas terrorists their heroes while they burn the Canadian flag. This government has done nothing to put a stop to these pro-genocide, anti-Semitic, anti-Canadian mobs who threaten our
come on, buddy. Come on. Don't falter.
Jewish communities nationwide. Will the Prime Minister commit to protecting our Jewish communities and label Sammy Doon a terrorist organization?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Public Safety.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Those actions
How
that have
young
been
are
taking
you?
place in our streets are wrong. We condemn them full stop. Any
How
form
old
of
are you,
anti-Semitism
lady?
is wrong. This is precisely why, Mr. Speaker, the Minister of Public Safety had already referred the listing of Sammy Doon to our national security advisors and asked for
I don't
an
believe you.
emergency and urgent review. Mr. Speaker, we've already taken action, but we know this issue isn't political, and it's a shame that conservatives only stand up when they think it suits.
Let's see. Climate change causes Islamic extremism.
Colleagues, these are very important questions and very important answers. I'm going to ask the honourable member from St. Albert, Edmonton, to please not speak out of turn.
She
and allow
looks
the
like
questions
40.
and answers
She
to
sounds
occur
like she's
uninterrupted.
20.
The honourable member from Thornhill.
Sure, if they took action, they would have listed them already. So if
Yep.
burning a Canadian flag, if calling for the death of Canadians, if fomenting hate in this country, and most of all being a front for an already listed terrorist organization is not enough to put them on the list,
What is?
then what the hell is it going to take for them to ban them?
Oh, now she's gonna get censured. Melissa Lensman's gonna get censured because she said hell. She said a bad word.
Very quickly before we go to the answer, I'm just going to ask the honourable member to withdraw the unparliamentary language. The honourable member. The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, when it comes to an issue as serious as this, we are not going to play politics with Canadian safety. But
What the fuck?
when it comes to listing of terrorist entities,
Did you wow. We're not gonna play politics with Canadian safety.
country, but it's precisely why the minister had already sent it for an urgent review, understanding
need
that
an
this
urgent
hate
review. It
is
should just be
unacceptable
done.
in Canada.
Censored for like the 4th time this year. Yup.
Colleagues, I've asked the all honourable members, please, not to take the voice. I'll ask the honourable member from Thornhill who had a question, had an opportunity to speak, and could also speak again, I'm sure. Please do not speak out of turn while other members have.
Look, he's mentioning another. It's only Conservatives that he does this. The member for whatever riding. He never calls out the member or riding if it's a Liberal or NDP person.
The honourable member from Halifax West.
Parliament recently passed Bill C-49, which will create an offshore wind energy sector in Atlantic Canada, in my region. This will mean jobs, investment, and clean energy. Despite all this,
yeah, I'd get
the
censored too,
Conservatives
cannibalistic.
opposed C-49 and opposed renewable energy.
There would be no way I would be a
Conservatives have put their
politician.
ideology ahead of Canadians. Can the Environment Minister explain why
Did that
Canada
liberal
must take
person
advantage
just
of
actually
economic
say with a
opportunities
straight face
come
that
with the energy transition?
conservatives
Thank
are
you.
putting their ideology ahead of
The Honourable
Canadians?
Environment and Climate Change Minister. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the energy transition represents 400,000 more jobs in Canada by 2030, and the offshore wind sector will be a $1 trillion industry. This equates to hundreds of thousands of jobs in clean energy. But these jobs are not guaranteed. In order to create them, we need an ambitious climate plan. That's why we passed Bill C-49, which will allow for development of offshore wind energy in Canada. Unfortunately, the Bloc has
So
joined
you want to
forces
put
with the
giant-ass
Conservatives to
fucking
oppose
windmills
renewable
in the
energy.
ocean?
Our government will fight to take advantage of these economic
that what I'm
opportunities
hearing?
and to create these jobs, even if the other parties are turning their backs on the fight against climate change.
The honourable member from Hamilton Centre.
This is why we have agreed she can never go into politics.
Canadians are forced into precarious gig work. And under the Liberals...
Because I would be like, Mr. Speaker. Because I'd be like, I'd ask the honourable member to withdraw that comment. And I'd be like, Mr. Speaker, I would kindly request that you fuck yourself.
Living has exploded while wages have fallen behind. More than ever, workers need and deserve more power, protection, and pay. And joining a union is the best way to get that. So while Liberals continue to undermine unions and Conservatives want to tear them down, New Democrats will always be Canada's only Labour Party. So will this government support the NDP
Social
plan
Credit
for
Party
sectoral bargaining so that gig workers can benefit from a union card?
That's the NDP have been around since the 30s. They were just called the Social Credit
Minister.
Speaker, whether it's sticking up for replacement workers, whether it's doubling the
Laugh
union
my ass off,
training
400,000
investment
jobs
fund.
where?
Mr. Speaker, this is the most labor-friendly government in the history of our country. We are union proud. We are union friendly. We're going to continue to make sure that we grow this economy from the bottom up and the middle out, and that means with good union workers.
No, it's not fuck unions. Right?
The honourable members from South Okanagan, West Kootenay.
And fuck anyone who
after a
thinks
summer of
unions are good.
wildfires that destroyed thousands of hectares of forests in the iconic city of Jasper, the Liberals are planning to cut funding for emergency services. And to make matters worse, this government has failed to train even a single firefighter in 5 provinces. It's their job to protect communities, but they're letting people down. Now, we know Conservatives cut services all the time, but why are the Liberals risking Canadians' lives just to help their bottom line?
The Honourable Minister for Emergency Preparedness.
Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the question from the member opposite, but it's absolutely not true. We have invested significantly in emergency preparedness. In fact,
of course they're union friendly. Yep.
Over 1,000 firefighters, which it also includes in
Video bye bye. Because unions make it so an individual cannot succeed above anyone else.
as firefighters as well. We increased equipment to the provinces and territories, and we can working collaboratively to making sure that they have all the resources necessary to fight the wildfires that are being devastated by climate change. Thank you.
Oh yeah, that's CPAC.
Chers colleagues, I wish to draw the attention of members to the presence in the gallery of Dr. Heather Lank, parliamentary librarian, who will be retiring at the end of next week. Dr. Lank first joined the Federal Public Service
So that's the end of, that brings it, let me pop through. Yeah. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure that they've ended with question period. And that was a crazy, I can't believe Karina Gould actually was like, if you're gonna mansplain, do it right. Ugh. What a stupid thing. That was like, I can't believe Karina actually said that. What a dumb thing to say. Like, holy crap. For her to be like, if you're gonna mansplain things to us, do it right. So I have one more thing to show you guys. And this is the last half of a speech that Pierre Poilievre gave yesterday evening at a banquet hall in... I would have been like, if you're gonna be a cunt, at least be alright. So this speech, I'm not playing the whole thing because it's like 32 minutes, but I just wanted to show you guys the last little bit of this speech, because I want to show you guys how he can hold a room, and I want to show you guys that it doesn't matter if Trudeau steps down at this point, because they all follow the same script in the Liberal Party. And I feel like the way that Poilievre handles himself and speaks, that if Chrystia Freeland is the leader, if Mark Carney is the leader, it won't matter, because Poilievre has A, experience in politics, B, has a very level-headed approach to things, and C, also knows how social media works and knows how all this stuff works. And it doesn't matter who he runs against at this point. He is going to be the shoo-in because of how badly damaged the Liberal Party's reputation is at this point. So I would like to show you this video, this part of this speech, and this is called "The Jewish People Will Always Triumph." And this is really a good speech.
The government in that land. So when they say end the occupation, in Gaza, the only occupier was Iran. Mm-hmm. Iran was occupying Gaza through
and he's been in the political sphere ever since 2004, I believe. 25 years he's been in politics. So, like, he's been around during all of these agreements and all of these accords. The Abraham Accord, he was around for.
its intermediary, Hamas. Iran was remote controlling Hamas and ensuring that the Palestinian people would not be able to build a brighter future as long as Israel was next door living in peace and harmony. And it was fear that that discord would come to an end and that hope would take root that most terrified the regime in Iran. And so they orchestrated the attack. The Hamas leaders traveled to Tehran, they got funding and weapons from Tehran, and ultimately coordination. I'm sorry, but I refuse to believe that ragtag terrorists in Gaza were able to accumulate all of those weapons and all of that intelligence and coordination on their own. This was an outside job. Now, why is this important? It's important because it forms our policy as a country towards Tehran.
This is what I wanted you guys to hear.
Its terror arm, the IRGC. The IRGC murdered 55 Canadian citizens and 30 permanent residents by firing an unprovoked missile at a civilian commercial aircraft, PS-752, over 3 years ago. Let's get this straight. This group operates legally on Canadian territory, on their own. This was and its terror arm an unprovoked missile, 52, over 3 years ago. Let's get this straight.
Back a bit.
This group operates legally on Canadian territory. It can recruit, coordinate, mobilize, fundraise legally on Canadian soil over 3 years after they murdered 55 of our citizens. What is our Prime Minister thinking? It's time to ban the IRGC.
This is what I'm talking about here. When you have somebody, and what he's saying lines up with what the intelligence community is saying. See, I wanted you to hear this too, honey, because I know you listen to the intelligence guys, and I wanted to know because what he's saying makes a lot of sense, and he's been in politics since like 2001-ish. He knows, like, he's watched all these accords going, so like he would know.
Common sense conservatives will continue to press the government to ban the IRGC, to remove the bureaucracy and streamline the funding for the security infrastructure program so that shuls and all places of worship, including mosques, churches, Hindu temples, can put up the security to protect their people. This should not be...
It's true, though.
I think it is appalling that a mosque, which was targeted by an anti-Muslim violent attack in Mississauga 2 years later, still does not have funding to protect itself against future attacks. I think it is appalling when I hear synagogues and churches are buried in paperwork for what should be a very simple rebate program that will help all of our places of worship secure themselves with cameras, personnel, and other necessary things that will keep them safe in an increasingly dangerous world.
Oh, but he's a conservative. He wants to cut things. He doesn't actually care about social programs.
Here at home, we will bring in tougher laws to punish terrorists. We will bring in consecutive rather than concurrent sentences so that those who carry out mass murder will not get bulk discounts for the number of murders they commit. And
thank you.
Just as we will keep our streets safe with jail and not bail for repeat violent offenders, and we will secure our borders.
Do you see this? He's not pausing for applause. He doesn't want applause. They're applauding him. He wants to tell them what he's going to do. He has to keep stopping because everyone's like, yes, yes, finally, yes. He just wants to talk. They keep clapping. He doesn't
We will secure
care.
our borders and our ports against the drugs and guns that finance terrorism and that lead to the loss of life here in Canada. We will stand with the Jewish people on campuses fighting anti-Semitism at universities.
Yeah, fucking right. No shit.
Common sense conservatives will also defund anti-Semitism. We will go line by line through all the groups that get dollars from the federal government, and we will defund every single one of those that promote anti-Semitism in our country.
Because there are things that promote anti-Semitism that get funding.
And then comes the difficult question of the Middle East. Now, I understand why the political pressures are high, and I understand why our Muslim friends and neighbors are suffering and are legitimately speaking out for the suffering of their loved ones in Gaza and in the West Bank. There's no doubt that the Palestinian people have been made by the Iranian regime and other dictators in the region, into a chess piece in an evil chess game.
Yep.
We know that there are dispossessed Palestinian families. Many of them have loved ones here in Canada. My heart goes out to them. I believe that we should ensure that Canadian aid actually goes to the suffering Palestinian people and not to those promoting terrorism in UNRWA.
Yeah. Fuck UNRWA. Seriously. Get rid of UNRWA.
When our government sends money to UNRWA, it commits to an organization whose members were involved in the attack of October 7th, and it takes money away from legitimate aid to real Palestinians who are suffering in Gaza and in the West Bank.
Yep. It absolutely does. And all of these things, he knows all of this shit. I'm gonna skip a little bit ahead.
And we will reject any motions and resolutions before the United Nations that unfairly target the Jewish state.
Good. You're not going to do a UN fucking puppet. Good.
We believe in a negotiated two-state solution with Palestinians living in peace and harmony next to a Jewish state, where we build prosperity, liberty, and opportunity for both peoples, and where all the Abrahamic peoples have access, unhindered access, to their places of worship. But we say, I want you to know,
but he's a big
I say
bad
all these things in
conservative,
mosques.
right?
I do go to mosques. I love meeting with the Muslim people. They are wonderful people. And when the issue of Israel comes up, I say, I'm going to be honest with you. I am a friend of the state of Israel, and I will be a friend of the state of Israel everywhere I go. We can no longer have the two, because we can no longer have this business of saying one thing to one group and another completely different thing to a different group.
No, we can't.
That's what we have. I mean, Justin Trudeau has come up with this political formula, right? He sends one group into synagogues to say one thing, and then he sends another group of MPs into mosques to say precisely the opposite. But here's the thing. Individual MPs don't have a vote at the UN.
Nope.
Individual MPs do not make decision on how foreign aid is distributed.
Nope.
Individual MPs do not have the ability to speak for the entire Canadian government on the world stage, because there is only one Canada. So that formula, while it might make for good politics, to have one individual MP who says the right thing in order to get a seat back and keep Justin Trudeau in power, does not solve the problem of having Canada take the right and principled position, one position for all of Canada, one position around the entire world.
Yeah, this is where he starts to explain why we've had anti-Semitism here when there's been war in Israel before.
not just what they say. And that stand is ultimately what matters the most.
Yep.
Now, conservatives will stand with you. I know that it's hard right now. Many of you feel alone. You feel scared. You question whether you should take your mezuzah off the door, the Star of David off your chest, the kippah off your head. I can't even imagine the thoughts that go through your head when you contemplate such things. No one in Canada should ever have to hide their faith in order to feel safe.
No. No. But I grew up thinking, like, I grew up in a country where it was not, like, this was not a thing that ever existed when I was a kid. Like, everybody, there were Muslims at my school, there were Jews, there were Christians, there were, and, like, we all played together, we all, like, it was... It wasn't always perfect, but it wasn't like this.
I want you to know that you're not alone in these struggles, that you have friends. You have friends. I want you to know that you have friends not just in the Conservative Party, but across all of Canada.
You do.
Who will stand with you and will fight for you and work to protect you. And I want you to know, I want you to look at the echo of the unmatched history of the eternal Jewish people. I was able to witness that history and that resilience when then Prime Minister Harper assigned me to represent him on the March of the Living.
Oh, wow. He actually had that honor? I didn't realize that.
For those who've not been, it is a walk from the first concentration camp, Auschwitz, to the most prolific death camp, Birkenau.
Yeah.
Survivors, their loved ones, and supporters lock arms on this long and painful march.
Yeah.
I remember being shaken by the images that I saw there. The prosthetic limbs that had been ripped off incoming prisoners and gathered up in a storage room, the sheared hair, the jewelry, the instruments
the fucking
of torture.
Shoes. I remember going to the Holocaust Museum in DC, and they have a train car that is part of the exhibit. And in the train car, there's like a little table that is full of shoes that to this day, I don't even think those are real exhibit, because why would they keep the shoes? Why would the Nazis keep the shoes of the dead Jews? That doesn't make sense. But
I remember when I witnessed all of this, how horrible it must have been for the little children who were marched into those horrendous gas chambers. And what struck me most, though, was when we were taken to a brick building, and the guide said to us, "This is the building where they kept all the stolen plunder of the incoming prisoners."
Like the jewelry.
The jewelry.
And shit.
It was there to house all of the treasure. So they named it after a land of great treasure.
They named it Israel.
They actually called it Canada.
Wait, what?
Because they actually called it Canada. Because all of those prisoners and guards had seen those advertisements from the Canadian government those decades before,
It's a land
that there
of
was a
treasure.
land of great treasure. So they named the building after that treasure.
That's fucked
And the
up.
guards would, in a sick joke,
That is fucked up.
taunt the prisoners who had to go and work in sorting in that building by saying, "You're going to Canada today."
Oh.
I thought of all the people who died dreaming of coming to Canada.
That is.
And it shook me.
That is.
I remember breaking down in
fucked
tears.
up.
and the ironic sight of Jews comforting me, a Gentile, at Auschwitz-Birkenau. It made me think of how lucky we are to be here and how important it is for us to extend those treasures to the rest of the world by standing up for what's right here, now, and everywhere. But you know what else I saw there? I saw the Jewish young people who were there to honor their grandparents or other lost loved ones.
Yep.
They would put small stones on top of big stones. There were no tombstones or other markings, but it was their way of saying, we're still here.
Yeah.
We haven't forgotten you. We still love you. And at the front, a cantor sang a beautiful psalmody, Psalm 23, in Hebrew. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you were with me, O Lord. And that gave hope and inspiration to the people there. But most of all, I saw Israeli flags flying in the wind. The Star of David, the symbol of the Jewish people and now its homeland, was like a symbol of triumph. It said, from the faces of those Jewish young people, we are still here. You did not stop us. You are gone and we are still alive.
And this, I wanted you guys to hear that. Because somebody that can speak like that, somebody that can articulate like that and bring to light and bring into image such powerful imagery, there's no way, it doesn't matter who is thrown up against him at this point, he's going to win. And it's insane because people will make comparisons to Hitler and they'll make comparisons to, and it's all because he can speak properly. It's all because he's articulate. It's all because like there's no comparison to somebody like Hitler. There's no comparison. But these people who don't want him to win will make that comparison and will make that horrible statement because they're afraid that somebody is around talking about common sense things. Common sense things that need to happen. And let me tell you, if things go wrong in the conservative government, I'll be here to call it out too. But right now, the Trudeau government is a very big problem, and Pierre Poilievre's government and his plans seem to be the best solution. I really feel like there's no other option right now. I think it was very important for us to actually hear that part of that speech. And they're home early. Hi. To keep strangers out. Are you strangers? No. Okay, guys, that brings us to the end of the show. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will be back tomorrow at 1 for another Just Chatting stream, and tonight at 9 for Mortal Kombat, and that will be on Twitch. So make sure you're following the Twitch channel and turning on the notifications for that. Twitch.tv/blindpress. So I hope you guys had a fun afternoon. I'm gonna go be a mom now. So I will see you guys tonight on Twitch at 9 p.m. You have a fantastic rest of your afternoon, and I'll see you tonight. Bye, everyone.